probably do.
Yeah, and I miss that guy. That's probably like a big regret.
Regret.
The drink is getting to me now.
Was it two different types of rum in here that he has?
What is good, guys? It's your boy Corey.
It's your boy John.
And welcome back to the Artistry Drop, where we feature stories from today's rising artists. Guys, we're just gonna dive right in. Our guest today is a singer, songwriter, actor, and model from the Bay Area. She's had great opportunities singing for Lakers, Golden State Warriors, the San Francisco Giants, and LA Kings. Guys, please welcome JESEREY.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Good, JESEREY?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's been a while since I've seen you. I think it's been almost 2 years.
I think,
it's literally been right when I moved here. That's when we first shot.
That's right.
So it's
2019.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
before
a while
the
ago.
Pandemic, right?
Way before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think it was somewhere around like September. Yeah, September, October. So nice seeing you.
Thank
Glad
you.
you're
nice
doing well.
Seeing you too.
Let's go ahead and get into the drink of the day before we learn a little bit more about JESEREY.
Yes. So the drink of the day is your classic Mai Tai, but of course, throwing my own little twist to it. So it has white rum, dark rum, triple sec. I put a dash of little orange juice to really bring out that orange flavor in the triple sec. And then I just topped it off with lime and put a little lime oil and garnish with a little, palm trees.
That's fire.
Neon vibes.
Yeah, I like the little palm trees. Like it gives the vibe, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then the neon straws, gotta make it complete for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a taste and do our traditional cheers.
Yes.
There we go. Cheers to a good podcast.
Yes, sir. Now, I just want to warn you, just be careful, because it is 3 different kind of rums in there.
This is really good, though, actually.
That is good.
This is really good.
Yeah. Is it?
And I'm super picky with my drinks. Like,
I remember that's why you asked. You're like, what kind of cocktail is it? I was like, he usually doesn't tell me until the show. So
he likes to be surprised.
I like it. Yeah. I like being surprised by the cocktails. But, we've had a variety. Like, it's too hard to...
We have Mexican, mango nadas, to tequila, to vodka, to now to rum, and, to coconut drinks blended, ice.
Have you had a Shirley Temple?
Yeah.
Okay, have you had an alcoholic version?
Like a spiked version?
Yeah, see? Oh. Yeah. He made an alcoholic version, and that shit was fire.
And it was my first time making it, but I got a lot of compliments, and we had to bring it on a second time. And
I mean, honestly, the drink is good. Like, I'm not going to lie. Or else I probably would have been like...
No, he's the cocktail master here, so that's his thing. Yeah, but he's been killing it pretty lately.
I think I definitely pulled out my barista side. I used to work at Starbucks, so making drinks is not new to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
would you say you're a cocktail connoisseur?
Not connoisseur, but just I'm the type of person when I go to a restaurant, I'm like, what's the sweetest drink you have on the menu? Like, I won't even look at it. I'll just be like, what's the sweetest one you have?
Okay.
Like, I can't taste the alcohol. Like, if I can taste the alcohol, best believe that's like not going to be.
Yeah. So one thing that I did add to this, I forgot to mention, I added passion fruit syrup. So that's why it's like a little bit mellow, because without the syrup, it was really like strong and like potent. So I was like, I gotta sweeten it up.
Yeah.
And then put some passion fruit syrup, and then that was like really smooth. So.
Tastes good. I like it. We should do this more often too.
Oh yeah.
I keep saying that about like almost all the drinks he makes. I'm like, you know what? This shit is good. I think you need to make it again.
Maybe just have a menu.
Exactly.
Actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's
special.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe we should.
The Artistry Drop menu. Pick.
Actually, that would be pretty dope if you did that.
Right.
That's a good
Open
idea.
up my own little bar back there. Okay. Yeah. Bring it on to the guests. What would you like on the menu?
That's goals. No, because we've been
a full-on bar. Switch it up on one side.
Exactly.
It's
like, the goal with like Artistry Drop is we're gonna have like our own studio eventually. So we might have to actually throw a bar in there.
If you did,
that'd be fire. Have you ever heard of the Tipsy Bartender?
No.
So he's like big on YouTube, and pretty much what he does is he just shows you how to make like a whole bunch of cocktails.
Okay.
And like his way of doing cocktails, and then he brings like celebrity guests on the show and shows them how to make it, and then they all drink it together. So I mean, it's gonna be like Artistry Drop is pretty much like a blend of, I guess, cocktails and cocktail.
I mean, this is definitely like a signature that a lot of other podcasts don't really like bring on to. So this makes us like really unique.
I mean, like
100%.
the Kinjas,
Yeah,
like the Kinjas, like they're usually sipping on like, you know, just straight up. But you got the cocktails going.
No, you got
gotta
a
step
whole
it
little
up.
umbrella. It's like I'm back in Cancun again.
Ooh, just gotta set the vibes.
Gotta set the vibes.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into learning
All
a
right,
little bit more about JESEREY.
Learning about JESEREY. So I heard you actually prefer to go by JESEREY rather than your full name, JESEREY
Yeah.
Sanchez.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Because I just think like with my name, like, have you guys heard of another JESEREY? Have you
No.
met another JESEREY?
Actually, no. Yeah.
So that's kind of
That's
what,
true.
you know.
That is
so
true.
for
That makes sense.
Yeah. So for the longest time growing up, I hated my name just because no one knew how to pronounce it. If you see it, it's spelled JESEREY.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like. It's when I tell people how it's said, I was like, it's Desiree with a J. It's like super simple, but it's actually a combination of my parents' names.
Oh, really?
So I told my parents, like, if I drop my last name for, like, you know, artist reasons, for stage name reasons, my mom's name is Jessica and my dad's name is Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
JESEREY.
dope.
That's dope.
Yeah, that is dope.
It's definitely a Filipino thing.
Yeah.
Right.
As I'm pretty sure, like, you guys have heard of that.
Yeah. No, that's pretty dope. And then the Sanchez, like, sometimes do you get compared to other Sanchez's?
100%.
Okay, because one that
He's
pops up to
Saldana.
no,
So many Saldanas.
no, there's not. They're all like in the Philippines, but
Or
like
famous.
I mean, yeah, they are famous, but
Yeah.
no, like, you know, one Sanchez that pops into my mind always is like Jessica Sanchez.
Exactly.
Do you get
yeah.
kind of reference to that sometimes? at all?
Sometimes they'll, especially if it's people that don't really know like the music scene or like those contests, like or just her in general, they'll be like, "Oh, I know you. You were on this show," and I'm like, "No, but I appreciate that, and that's an amazing compliment."
Right.
And also, my mom's name's Jessica, so it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
so that was another reason. But I mean, also I have a lot of friends like here in LA that are also singers. A lot of us have the J. That's another thing too. So it's just nice to just like have my name, and I feel like it's long enough.
Yeah.
And I did mention this to one of my friends before too. It's like when I say JESEREY Sanchez, it almost sounds like a newscaster. There's like
I can kind of see what you're
You
saying.
know,
Yeah.
there's-
It's kind of catchy. It has that like catchy catchiness to it. Yeah.
And there's actually like a newscaster in the Philippines, and her name is Karina Sanchez. So like growing up, I was like, my name sound like I'm an anchor, and it's just like, you know, it's like nothing bad, like no shame on that at all. But I just wanted something that was like, okay, JESEREY, like that's it.
No, that makes sense, and I think, you know, especially with you like being an artist and your name is like nobody else has it. Like it's
unique,
you know, it's unique, and I think it's awesome that you're actually just utilizing the your first name instead of, you know, your last name. Like everybody will know you. It's like, you guys know JESEREY, you know. So I think that kind of popped into your mind, and it was like, you know, let's just go with the first name.
Yeah, I feel like as it, you know, as
It's
we build
branding.
ourselves, exactly.
Yeah, it's your branding.
Yeah, because it's already a hard enough name. I feel like, especially spelling wise. Like, you know, when people are like, oh, drop your social, like for them, it's like. I feel like I have to already spell it out. So it's like, oh, at JESEREY Sanchez.
Yeah.
One, I have to like spell it out. Like everyone hears Desiree. And then the way it's spelled too, growing up, people would be like Jersey, Jeffrey, JESEREY. I've heard it all. Like honestly.
Have you had a hard time with social media as like getting your name as just JESEREY and not JESEREY Sanchez? Yeah.
I'm sure.
There's was literally just one person that has it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's like an empty account.
You know what? I think because, you know, I was also trying to do the same with my Instagram. I was just trying to do Corey Saldana, but somebody had it and it's a dead account, and it just said, so my Instagram is Corey.Saldana.
Oh,
so
okay.
from what I read is if there's an account that's, you know, dead for a certain amount of time, you can actually reach out to Instagram and have them close that account, and then you'll be able to replace that.
Okay, we both need to do that.
I know, right? I've never no, because that was something because I went from like a long time ago, CS Productions, when I was doing like a whole bunch of, you know, videography and music, and all that into one. I was like, you know, CS Productions, that was just something. But and then I was like, you know what? I don't want to be known as CS Productions. I want to be known as
who you are.
who I am, you know? So I signed up, and it says Corey Saldana's taken. I'm like, what the fuck? So I looked up on like Instagram, like, is there a way to go about that? And there is. So we both, you're right. We both might have to do that. Yeah. Because I mean, the dot is kind of annoying for me.
I get it. Yeah. I 100% get
Yeah.
it. Like the Sanchez is not, it's not
Right.
distracting in any way.
Yeah.
But I mean, when we had Instagram, we were in high school?
Yeah.
My username then was like Jess Baby or something. I didn't even have JESEREY then, so
yeah.
Kind of messed up there. I feel like we should have made.
You might have to reach out to them and see if you're able to replace that account, but of course, it being Instagram, it's probably going to take months to get to that point. Just like majority of all platforms.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
for sure.
Might as well start now.
Exactly. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Eventually.
Eventually.
They have to get to us at some
I know,
point.
exactly. All right, so moving on, you are originally from the Bay, but now you live here in LA. Like, what made you originally move out to LA?
So this is going to be my 10 years.
Wow. Really? Congrats.
Yeah.
10 years.
Congrats.
This is not an easy city to live in, as you guys know.
No, it's not.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not.
I moved out here for college originally. Okay. So I went to school for performing arts. So it's always been about singing, about acting. It was always, that was like my dream, you know?
Oh, okay.
You know? So after graduating high school, it was a push for my parents, especially. I'm Filipino, so that was definitely like, okay, no, one, you're not leading the nest. You're 18. But push and shove, I got here. So I studied musical theater in college. So that's what originally got me out here.
Okay.
But I didn't do musical theater until my junior year of high school. But then from there, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like being able to sing and act at the same time and having legends in the Philippines like Lea Salonga, where she like paved that wave for artists like myself. So that kind of, that was like the main reason that I moved out here first.
That's dope. Which school did you go to?
I went to AMDA.
AMDA.
So it's it stands for American and Dramatic Academy for the Performing Arts.
Where is that? That's here in LA?
It's in Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh, it's in Hollywood.
It's actually like adjacent to Capitol Records.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is
You pass by all the time.
Yeah, I pass by there all the time.
You probably do. It's like this super tall white building. It's like, I don't know if that's what it was before. I don't think it was, but that's where it is now. It's off of like Yucca and Vine.
Oh, okay.
So if you see Capitol Records, that tall building, there's another like white tall building, and that's the school. Yeah.
I feel like a majority of like a lot of art schools are down there because I graduated from LA Film School, and it's just right there too. Yeah. And so it's crazy because a lot of other schools, they're kind of surrounding, but considering how like busy and crazy traffic is around there, and putting a school there.
Yeah.
And parking.
Yours is worse, actually. I'm like behind Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
You're on Sunset.
Yeah, we're on Sunset.
Yeah, you're on Sunset.
Yeah, so that was crazy. And we went with LA Film, there was I wasn't on campus. I actually graduated online. So yeah, when I moved down here, then we kind of checked out LA Film. Walked around there to see how it was, and that's how I knew. I was like, damn, this shit is crazy.
So you went through the whole school process with LA Film School online only?
Okay, so I went to two film schools. So one was living in Seattle. I went to the Art Institute of Seattle.
Okay.
That was all on campus. And that school was shitty. So when coming down here to LA for just vacation, I heard about the LA Film School. I was like, wow, this shit looks actually really good. And way better than, Art Institute. So I was like, let me give it a chance and, apply, see if I can get in. And luckily, I found out they actually have a whole online course. It was a 3-year course. It was progressive. So, it was nonstop, like just work. And that's all it was, like living in Seattle, like just working pretty much, all schoolwork. And, and it was crazy because what I always said was I learned way more online than I did on campus.
On campus? That's wild.
It's crazy because a majority of the teachers that were teaching online were, all people that work in the film industry already. Like one of my teachers was the guy that lit up like all gaffer and lighting for Too Fast, Too Furious. Oh. So I was like, damn, this is dope. Like, my teacher...
You're working with professionals.
Actually in the industry.
Actually in the industry. So, I mean, it's people are really confused when I tell them, I did my whole schooling online,
Yeah. But especially with arts.
It is, it's crazy because you would expect with filmmaking, you got to be on campus, right?
Yeah.
But the other side of it is they do send you an expensive ass like package, so you can do the work.
I see.
So I mean it's pretty much I was doing all the work in Seattle, like remote, pretty much, versus, but it's pretty much the same because I already had the experience at art institute anyways. It was all pretty much the same. It was just I transferred. The main reason was the teachers at art institute sucked.
Oh.
They would change out teachers every like couple weeks.
I see.
So it's like the curriculum would change so often.
It was never like consistent.
Exactly. And you know, I was like, I was getting tired of this. I'm paying so much money to go to this school, yet I'm not learning what I should be. You know, so I was like, you know what, I think I need to look for something different, and LA Film was the route. And you know, I loved going there, and that's why I recommend a lot of people to check it out. If you and they have a music program. I don't know how the music program is, but one of the guys I graduated with in LA Film, he transferred over to music as well. So he went from filmmaking then to the music program.
I mean, that's cool because it ties in.
Yeah, it does tie in.
Yeah, no matter what, that ties in together.
It does, and now that's all he's doing. Yeah, it's just music. Cool. So it's crazy. So I'm assuming maybe the music program was dope, but who knows? Like, I don't know, you know. But
it's changing, especially with those schools, because, I mean, even kind of going off what you said with your school in Seattle, I loved my school. Like, I got what I could get out of it. But I tell people it's like the one professor that I had there was like my vocal coach. And she's the one that just like changed like the game for me. Oh, okay. Like, she was the one that was like, okay, like this was like worth my while, worth my parents' dime, you know? Like, but yeah, because it was the same thing, because a lot of our professors were working actors. Yeah. They were, sometimes they would have auditions and then they would have to leave. Yeah. And then at one point we had a teacher that just had to leave, you know, and then we're like, okay, so what happens now? Yeah. So, but it's just the name of the game, because like they're doing like you want to learn from like these individuals, like you know, because they're the ones working. But it definitely was hard too, like with the inconsistencies. But
exactly, and that's the thing. Like I would say majority of the people that were my teachers. I don't even know how many teachers we went through, like during because I went there for associates, but I even left before associates. So I was only there for like a year and a half, but during that year and a half, I probably had like 20 different teachers.
I mean, it was a bad school. They eventually went bankrupt.
Yeah, they went bankrupt.
So the moral of the story
is don't go to art institute.
Just don't. And you know, it's crazy because we had a producer here, and Andrea Hurd, and he actually went to the Art Institute, I think in
North Hollywood?
No, not North Hollywood. He's an older guy.
Oh, okay.
He's like really not old, but he produced for like Michael Jackson and you know like that old, you know. So
it's OG.
Oh, he's an OG. Yeah, just
he's
better phrase. Yeah, better phrase.
He's old, but Andrea Hurd, he's an OG.
Yeah, he's
gonna hear this and be like, dude.
No,
like, I thought you got me, man.
We love Andrea. You know, he's super dope, super inspirational.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
yeah, he mentioned when we had him on the show, he mentioned that he went to Art Institute. I think it was of New York or Chicago.
I think it was New York. It
was one of those. But yeah, he even mentioned, you know, he went there, but he didn't complete it. But a lot of people that actually completed from there were like, who was it? Nas, or a lot of famous people that, you know, and
at the time,
at that time. But now the fact that they went bankrupt.
So it was like, it's that franchise of a school right then. Okay, so I know exactly, one of my friends went to the one in North Hollywood. Yeah. This quick thing. Yeah, I remember her telling me like they completely shut down. Yeah. But I think like
that's the same one then.
I think like loans were forgiven and stuff though. So
they were, but not mine.
Because you left right before.
Yes, I left right before. So I should have stayed. I should have known better. But it's crazy.
I mean, how would you know?
I know. Exactly. How would I know? I knew the school was a shitty school, but I didn't know they were gonna go bankrupt.
It'd be that bad. Yeah.
You know, and I should have actually thought about it because what they put is when you go to that school, they're gonna give you a whole package. Like they're gonna give you a Canon 7D, like this camera and all these stuff. And the year before, the year before I went received everything. When I went, they didn't give a shit. I was like, what the I was excited.
So all these broken promises already from jump.
Yes, so I was excited to get like a new camera because, you know, I had a cheaper camera at that time. This is back in like 2011. And I was like, you know, they're giving away a Canon 7D, and at that time it's one of the best cameras you can get. I was like, yes, like I can't wait to get this. Of course it's coming out of school loans, but I didn't have to pay shit at that time.
Right.
And when we get there, they're like, oh, sorry guys, we're not giving away cameras anymore. I was like, what the fuck? So at that time I was like, okay, like something's wrong here, you know. So I didn't think about the point that they were gonna go bankrupt,
right?
But they did literally months after I left.
Yeah,
I was like, fuck. Now I still have like 30,000 to pay on that school loan, and now I have to pay my my school loan at LA Film, which is triple that.
Yeah.
You know,
you can't pay for education, I guess.
It's hard. Yeah. It's hard, you know, and now that we're in like the educational stuff, like, would you say school was worth it?
You know, it's so funny because I talked to my friend Nico on his podcast actually about this too, because, you know, we're all artists, especially when it comes to school. Everyone's like, do you really have to go to school?
Yeah.
Right.
It's such a, I don't know, I feel like it's like a loaded question for me because, like I said, my professor, my vocal coach, like, she taught me everything. Like, if I didn't have her, like, just listening to the way I sounded when I was 18 to now, but also I'm sure like maturity comes with that too, but just the skill set and just from breaking down when it comes to like singing, just breaking down every little part of my voice, I wouldn't have gotten that elsewhere. But when it comes to the other stuff, you know, did I need the 4-year degree in music? Like, you know, especially now with the way things have changed.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's definitely like the hard part for me where I'm like, did I need to do that? But especially with the other side of it was more so for my parents were like, if you're doing this, you're getting a degree out of it.
Right.
Like, you're not going to do this just willy-nilly, just, you know. So that was kind of more so being able to do what I wanted to do, but also pleasing my parents at the same time. But also, it's nice, you know, you get to say, like, I have a bachelor's degree.
Right.
It's in music, but it's a bachelor's degree.
It's a nice resume filler, you know?
Exactly.
No, I feel that. And that, you know, that's one of the things, like, for me, I feel proud of myself because I never actually graduated high school. I was like a failure in high school, and I hated high school. I hated school in general, you know, and of course, my parents, you know, they were disappointed, of course. It was just, back then, it was not a priority for me. But it just got to the point where, you know, I loved what I was doing, like videography. Like, I started videography right when YouTube just started, around like 2000. Well, YouTube started around 2006. I started to get into YouTube around 2008, 2009. So I started making like videos, and I was like, this shit is fun, you know? So that's where, you know, I was like, you know what, I kind of want to learn a little bit more about videography or filmmaking. So I was like, hey, I failed in school. Only way to do it is get my GED. So studied up, got my GED, go to college, you know, and
you did it your way.
Yeah,
and it worked for you.
Exactly. You know, and I got a bachelor's degree out of it. You know, even though I didn't graduate high school, I feel
pushed through.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, you know, it's a lot of people, if they don't graduate, that's it for them. You know, but it just got to the point where I was like, you know what, like, I love this and I want to learn a little bit more. I think it's time to go back to school. And honestly, I was like, I thought about it a lot because, of course, I hated school.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people love school.
Yeah.
Nobody likes school.
Yeah.
You know, but it is different with a lot of more like strict Asian parents. So, you know, I understand that. But, you know, the fact that like I'm half Filipino and then my other side is white.
So you kind of had that balance.
I had that balance. So it's like, you know, like.
Kind of had it easy.
I had it a little bit easy.
Instead of having two strict Asian parents.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm first generation too.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was one of those things where it's like, they came out here, did this, like, this is what you're gonna do.
It.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah. So, but you know, like, I definitely feel proud of myself for going through.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
No, for sure.
And it's still crazy to think about, like, I didn't graduate and now I got my bachelor's. So we all out here.
That is like, that should be a motivation to anyone watching.
Definitely. And that's what Artistry Drop is all about. It's about motivation. It's about positivity.
Inspiration.
And, you know, that's why we brought you on the show to give inspire, you know, the next generation of people.
Yes, sir.
So we kind of, you know, we went on a tangent there.
That's
you know,
okay.
we go on those quite a bit.
Right.
But yeah, going back into it, you know, I do notice you go back home quite a bit. Like, do you miss it out there? And have you ever thought about like moving back to the Bay?
I miss home. I definitely do miss it there. It's been like a tug and pull for a long time, but it's just one of those things too where I'm like, after graduating college, I graduated, I was 20.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the same thing how you were talking about in Seattle where it was like a straight 3 years. So it was the same thing for me. I didn't take breaks.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where it was almost embedded into my brain of like, okay, I can't just stop? Like, if I go home, am I gonna get stuck here? Like, what will happen? You know?
Yeah.
And on top of that, my parents didn't live like in the heart of the Bay or anything. Like, they live what's considered the Valley.
Okay.
So, like, just driving down on the freeway, you'll see cows type of thing. So it's like, what was I gonna do? Like, I'm gonna just run into people from high school, and like, not the worst thing, but just especially how things have changed in the last 10 years. It's so different. Yeah. It's so different now. Like, I love that we have these platforms that you guys are creating for artists like myself, because it's not the same way. Especially when I was in school, we had classes where it prepared us for the real world, you know, like prepared us for the auditions, prepared us to get our headshots, prepared us for what to say and what not to say, to go networking. We had classes for networking.
That's dope,
but that doesn't apply anymore, you know, like when Instagram became what it is now, when obviously now we have TikTok, like all of it, like everything that ties in together, it's so different that I feel like if I just take a minute of like a break, I'm gonna miss something. Yeah. You know, so that's like the one thing that keeps me from going home. But the other thing also is just, I talk about this a lot too with like my friends and my family, where you get into a funk. Like, who doesn't get into a funk where you're just like, should I still do this? Like, should I stop? Should I take a break? Should I try something else? And I'm literally like, my friends hear this from me. Like, my boyfriend hears this from me. I'm like, sometimes like, I'm like, fuck, like, should I do this? Like, you know, excuse my language, like, if I should do this anymore. But at the same time, there's always something that comes up. And for the longest time, like you mentioned earlier, with singing for like the national anthem, like that, for example, it's just, I wanted to do that for so long, and then it finally happened, and I'm just like, wow, like I used to just think about like, oh, I can do that, I can be that, like,
can we give you a
artist. Oh, thank you.
Yes, let's go. Yes.
Yeah, it's like things like that where you're just like, you don't think it's gonna happen, or it's like for us when it comes to auditions, and you audition with like hundreds and hundreds of people, and like I said, I've said this so many times, sound like a broken record, but when you get that callback, or you get like any kind of recognition, almost like you beat that like one person. And it's one thing that I was taught from like my choir teacher back in high school. She told me, she's like, JESEREY, there's always gonna be someone that you're better than, but there's always gonna be a person that's better than you. Like that's just the reality, you know? But it's just the constant battle and the constant like thing I have to put in my head is the comparison. And like I said with social media, tying that back into it, let's just add more of that. So I mean, like to answer your question with like going back home, I feel like home will be there, and if it pulls me in that direction, it'll pull me in that direction. So like I said, like when I'm here, it's just what I want to. I've even entertained the idea of like moving out of state. You know, like my brother was living in Arizona, and I'm like, maybe I can like move there and like have a slower pace of things. But then something else happens in LA, and I'm just like, as much as I hate this city, I love this city. You know, it's like every time I'm gone, and then I'm flying back in or driving back in, I'm like, ugh. It's just like. It's like you always feel like you have to do something. You're always on the move. Like you always have to, okay, like what's next? Like I have to do this, I have to do that. So we'll see in the near future for a long answer of if I'll go home. We'll see.
But you know what? You live in such an amazing state. Like everything is happening here. We had to move from a different state just to get here, you know? And kind of like what you're mentioning is like, should you move somewhere else, like outside of California? And it's, for me, like, coming out from, of course, a different state, now living in California, like, I don't know, I really love California, and of course, it's a different state from what we have back home. So we have a different feel for, you know, living here than what we did back home. And I love the vibe here. So it's like, I can't see myself even moving back home. You know, like, but like I said, you already live here. Like you live in California in general. You're a Californian, you know. So it's like it's way different. But no, I do get what you mean, because it's like you lived in California your whole life. You want to see what else is out there. New York, maybe. Like that's another big artist capital. Like, you know, like
my boyfriend and I were like talking, because we had just actually went there for his birthday a few weeks ago. I'm like, should we try New York? It's just like,
hey,
you know, it's like we could also do what we do there. It's a different speed for sure. You know, but I feel like if it was to be another state, it would be like New York. I mean, we can do music out there. It's like it's the same scene but different.
It's way different.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if I were to go to Arizona, I'd be like in the desert. Like what am I gonna do here?
Exactly. And you know, like when I was applying for jobs, so I tried to make LA a goal of moving like years ago, like since like 2016. I've been trying to move out here, you know, because I started Art Institute around 2011, 12, around there. And then I started LA Film 2015. So during that time, I was already applying for, oh no, sorry, my bad. So during the time I was going to Art Institute, I was applying for videography jobs and stuff like that. And I ended up landing a videography interview in New York. And I was like,
what do I do?
Yeah, what do I do? You know, because New York wasn't ideal for me. I didn't want to move all the way across country.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and but I was like, you know what? Like New York is another big place, kind of like LA. So I did a lot of research and looked up a little bit more about New York. I was already looking up apartments. I was like, you know what? If I land this job, then I need a
place to live.
Yeah, I need a place to live. And New York, after doing a lot of research, it definitely is I would say the second biggest like entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Versus LA.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know, for me, since we live here already and coming from a different state, it's like I don't see myself leaving. It's like LA has because I'm also in a different, genre than, I'm in film. And of course, this is the film capital of the world.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's Hollywood,
exactly.
So, but you know what? Being a music artist and all that, it's like you can do that in New York.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's where all their other record companies are.
Exactly, and like with musicals and Broadway, and
that too.
If I can just like be on Broadway for once in my life, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Have you done like musicals and plays?
I've done them like more so in high school and in college,
Oh, okay.
but after college, it kind of switched over to trying to be more like an independent artist, and then doing the modeling scene, doing like the commercials. Not that I stopped doing musical theater, like I definitely want to, and I'm pushing to be Jasmine on Broadway. If any Disney directors see this,
Gonna have to push that out then.
Yes, sir.
What like would you say that's your goal? Like your goal play on being on Broadway, or what other Broadway plays would you want to be on?
as far as Broadway, we're speaking Broadway.
Yeah, just strictly Broadway.
So my dream role is to be in Miss Saigon, and that's like a predominantly like Asian musical.
Yeah.
But I also, so it's hard. Like I also love Disney.
Yeah.
And like any karaoke bar, any family party, the first song I whip out is A Whole New World. Like it never fails. Like that's literally what I sing. So I feel like as of recently, I feel like because I'm so not known, but people like recognize like that part of me where it's like super Disney, I would love to do Miss Saigon because it does show more of like just acting wise and like my voice and everything. That's definitely like, my dream role.
Oh, okay.
That's still dope.
dope, yeah.
Yeah, that's still dope. We went on a little tangent
Again.
It's all good though. But yeah, going back, like, what would you say you miss most about living in the Bay?
My puppies.
Do they not live here with you?
No, they live
okay.
with my parents.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I guess the pace of being back home, like the Bay, it's just like when I go home, like I'm not that. LA stresses me out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
LA definitely
It does for a lot of
stresses me
people.
out.
It stresses
Yeah.
us out too.
Agree.
Like on the day to day,
Yeah.
but I think that's really what I miss is just the pace and
Right,
just
right.
like I just feel so relaxed when I'm home, and maybe it has a lot to do with like my parents being up there,
Yeah.
my puppies being there.
Yeah.
But I mean that's really it. To be honest with you, it's just like the way the like life is there. It just doesn't feel like you're being rushed, but not in a bad way. It's not
for-
like too slow, you know. But maybe it's just because when we're here, like I said, like tying like social media and all that stuff, you see what everyone's doing. You're like, hey, well, I have to do this. I have to do that. You know?
Yeah. No, and you know what? I agree with you too, because my dog lives with my parents as well, and I miss my dog a lot. Like every time I go back home, I'm like, I
See him like FaceTiming his dog.
I do that too.
No, literally, I FaceTime my dog all the time. Whenever I'm talking to my parents, I'll be like, where's Lucky? That's my dog's name. And, we'll be talking and he just barks at me because I think he knows my
he can
voice.
hear your
He knows
voice.
my
Yeah.
voice. So it's like, it's so cute. I miss that guy. And only reason like I didn't bring him down originally was because, my parents had their dog and they both grew up together. So,
the same thing with mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
so and unfortunately he did pass last year.
Oh, I'm
So it's like,
sorry.
I wish I could bring him down now. But of course, like he has a good life with my parents,
Yeah.
like his grandparents.
He has like the yard. He has all of that.
Yeah, and he's fine and we're busy down here, but you know, of course, I still do what I can for my dog. You know, I pay his bills, his dog bills, and
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a toy poodle.
Oh, so mine's like similar. I have
Toy poodle
Maltese.
/ Bichon. Okay,
Oh,
Maltese,
they probably honestly look the same.
They almost probably
they
look the
probably
same.
do. Yeah.
And I miss that guy. That's probably like a big regret.
Regret.
okay.
The drink is getting to me.
Yep.
The drink is getting to me now.
Was it two different types of rum in here that he
Yes.
has?
Regret. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, but that's a big.
He's getting old too, guys. Forgive my grandpa.
We get a little lit on the show, so. We interrupt this episode with a word from our sponsor. Are you a gamer and looking to amp up your gaming setup? Then we've got an amazing gaming brand for you. Tilted Nation strives to get their customers involved with their development process of new products in order to establish a personal connection and not to mention truly optimized products for the gaming community. They want to go beyond developing amazing products and to lead the gaming community into a united community that works together. A community that pushes gaming essentials to unimaginable heights. They've hooked us up with amazing gear such as this gaming headset stand, mouse pads, and this awesome laptop RGB stand right below my laptop. And now they're hooking you guys up. Use the discount code Artistry Drop on their website, link below, and receive a 15% discount. Now back to the show. No, but that's definitely one of the regrets I have is like not bringing him down with me because his company and him cuddling with me.
Yeah.
It's like one of the cutest things.
Yeah, my dog doesn't really like. I have 3 of them.
Wow.
And so one of them I actually got when I was my last year of college. So I was like, I asked my dad, I was like, can I please get a puppy? And he like finally let me. And then at one point, my parents were like, okay, well you're busy like trying to figure things out like right after I graduated college. They took him, but they also got a puppy at the same time. So they just like
that's pretty much like my parents.
Yeah.
Same exact thing.
So my parents will. There are times where they'll come down and they'll bring his name's Remy.
Yeah.
They'll bring Remy down and then they'll leave the other one Jack. And so we have another one. The oldest, his name's Jake, but he's like grandpa. Like he
How old
literally
is he?
Jake is turning 10 this year.
Okay.
And then
that's about my dog's age.
Yeah. And the other 2 had just turned 6.
Okay.
So they're literally like.
They're bonded.
Yeah, so when they bring
it's
Remy
hard,
here, like the other one went on like a hunger strike and didn't want to eat. Like, where's my buddy? Where's my brother?
Yeah.
So I can't like separate that.
Yeah,
It would be too cruel.
Exactly. And that was the reason why I didn't want to separate my dog because, you know, them growing up together, if I did, one of them is going to have anxiety.
Yeah.
One of them's just not going to.
do.
You know, they do.
They
And
do.
You remember, what's his name? It was the famous Pomeranian.
Oh, Boo.
Boo.
I have this stuffed toy.
Oh, you do?
Boo. And then the other one, I think, passed as well. You remember
What they had like, they were like 2.
They were both of them.
Yeah.
And then
the
he
skinnier
passed as
one.
well because I think they weren't,
my
it's like he lost
God.
his friend.
Oh my God, that makes me so sad.
It's sad, and that's why I was like, you know what, I don't want that to happen to my dog.
I can always visit them.
Exactly. Yeah, or FaceTime him.
Or FaceTime him. They never sit there, but
Yeah.
I have like an album dedicated to like
Oh, you do?
dogs. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I kind of do as well.
Damn. I grew up with dogs, but I never had a dog for that long. Either we had to give it away because our place that we move into, didn't allow dogs, or they ran away for whatever reason. So it was like,
ran away
they hated
for
you.
Yeah, I was like,
they hated you.
It wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. They don't come back like dogs, I guess. I mean, like cats. Like cats, I guess. So I was like,
I'm allergic to
sad.
cats. I can't do
Oh, I am
cats.
too.
Yeah,
I am too.
Can't
Yeah,
do cats.
I am too.
Yeah, I mean, I like cats, but yeah, semi-allergic. But
Dogs are more fun.
they are.
Yeah.
You could do more with dogs,
Yeah,
for sure.
and cats hate people. It's like you've seen those videos where like you'll walk in and I forget what his name is. He's a comedian, but he would greet his cat and he's like all like happy seeing him, but he shows his cat and his cat just looks pissed at him. I don't know if it's a famous, it's a viral YouTube
I need to
video.
look at it.
Okay,
Oh
but
my
that shit's
God.
funny.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
like my dogs when they're just like jumping on me.
Exactly.
Like, okay, I'm home.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same here.
Yeah. Going back into when you go and visit the Bay, how it's like so like slow pace. I feel like we feel the same when we go back to Seattle.
Yeah.
We go every like December for Christmas and
For the
whatnot.
holidays.
Yeah, but like when we're there, we enjoy our time. It's very slow paced, but of course, like being over here, everything is so fast paced. We feel like if we don't dedicate, every day towards
Every minute.
Yeah, every minute towards the bigger
Yeah.
picture, then we're like slacking off. So definitely having that time to like relax and
Decompress.
Yeah. So when you were mentioning how like it could get stressful here, that's something that we feel as well. I feel like the Bay is so like connected with Seattle as well. A lot of people who I meet from the Bay here, I connect a lot with because it reminds me of people back home in Seattle. Have you been to Seattle?
Yeah, actually, I've been a few times. It does remind me of San Francisco, like the downtown area.
Right.
But not like I haven't like really met people other than you guys now. But it's definitely like similar. I just can't do your rain. Like that cloudiness.
Yeah. Do you not like the rain whatsoever?
Yeah. I don't like the rain.
Oh, no.
I can do the rain if I'm inside, but if I gotta go run around and do stuff,
it's hard.
No, it is. Like, you know, one thing we hated, like, living in Seattle would be the rain at certain points. Yeah. Like, when we have shoots that are scheduled and we're shooting outdoors.
And it just starts raining. Yeah.
You gotta reschedule.
You actually, funny enough, when we had our photo shoot 2 years ago, you brought the rain.
I did. It was cloudy. It was cloudy.
It was fine. It was just fine.
Yes.
And then all of us, we get there and I was like, oh my God, it's raining.
Yeah.
And then we're like, let's just get the shot. Yeah. We had to shoot so fast because it just started to rain on us. Yeah. And then it cleared up.
Damn, of course.
I think we killed out that shoot in probably like 20 to 30 minutes too.
We had no choice.
Yeah, we had no choice. It was pouring and I was like, you know, like let's just call it. Let's just call it because, you know, I don't want to get my equipment.
Exactly.
You know, and I think we had an umbrella.
We did have an umbrella.
I think we did.
Who brought the umbrella?
I don't know.
I forget.
I don't know.
Like, how did you guys have an umbrella?
We definitely did have an umbrella. I don't
think
know
so.
Why.
Yeah, I don't know why. It was just prepared or something.
Because I know this guy doesn't bring an umbrella nowhere.
No, you know what? Like, when you come from Seattle, and I think I told you this on our first shoot, like, when we first met, I was talking about, like, the rain and
Seattle
we're
lights.
talking, being a Seattleite. And, no, it's just a thing. Like, it's a lot of Seattle people just don't use umbrellas. It's
true. Yeah.
So y'all just let yourself get soaked?
Yeah.
I mean, we like live in the rain, so like we're prepared. We have the raincoats, you know,
water North Face, you know.
Yeah. Okay, that I guess it's
Kinda.
fair.
Yeah, no, but it's crazy because when was it? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It was like pouring.
Oh yeah, it was raining.
Monday,
it was raining.
Okay, yeah, Monday it was like pouring, and you know I go to work in the morning over at the academy, and it was pouring, and I was like, oh my God, like this is beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't wear a hood.
Yeah.
Or anything. I even styled my hair for the day, and I
he was like, today's gonna be a good day. Because the rain is here.
Because a majority of the time I work like 95% from home, and then on Mondays we have our team meetings in the office.
Okay.
So yeah, I go in the office, my hair is all fucked up already.
And he was like, I love it.
I love it.
As expected.
Yes, I love it.
I stayed in that entire day.
No, it's something about the rain, and of course it's just like, you know, since we grow up with it, it's like once it's here, it's like we want to take it in.
Right.
That's for sure. California's always in a drought at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
At least you're getting the rain.
Yeah, no, it is. And that's the same day we went to the Kraken's game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, when the day it rained, and look, we end up winning.
Yeah,
the Kraken
is the Kings.
The
Kings. Okay. I was like, I don't even know.
So it's the Kraken is the new. It's our new hockey team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was crazy because we played them on Saturday, and you know, nice day, of course. And we played them again on Monday, and that's when we actually went to the game. And they were even talking, like the announcers and everything, they were talking about, you know, it's been pouring all day today. Do you think this is gonna
it's like good luck for y'all?
It's gonna play a big difference of how the game turns out? And one of the guys was like, no, I don't think so. You know, the Kings are doing great. And then we beat the Kings like 6-1. So we're like, and it was raining. So I guess we're just gonna need the rain.
You're gonna need the rain. So when you guys are here, then you guys can expect y'all will lose. I guess.
Right.
Even when the Seahawks come to play the Rams, it's like we're gonna need the rain.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the Rams anyway. So
I know you guys are Niners fans, right?
Yeah, he's wearing a T-shirt, and it's like.
What do you guys? I don't know if you guys have heard, but you know, of course, like Russell Wilson has left our team. Now they're talking about bringing Colin Kaepernick, like, you know, your guys' original, one of the original quarterbacks.
He's like, nah.
What do you guys have to say about that?
Should we bring him on? Because I don't know.
Or Garoppolo, they're even talking about Garoppolo.
They're not going to take Jimmy G.
That's what they're saying. I'm just reading, you know, I'm a Seahawks
Definitely
fan.
Kaepernick.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like Kaepernick.
Really?
I'm a Seahawks fan, and I always look at the news every day, and they're talking about Jimmy G, you know, because he's injured and all that stuff. Like, they're talking about cutting him, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't want to debate with you guys.
Yeah, it's not even a debate,
It's
really.
not a
It's
debate,
just like,
you know, I'm just
yes or no. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
It's like a nah.
No, it is. But, you know, who knows? Like, we don't know what's going to happen. It's off season right now. You know, like, we do need a quarterback. So, I mean, we apologize
Somebody, please. Goddamn.
If we do get Jimmy G. Like,
I mean, you know, maybe he'll do better with y'all.
who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Just
But
maybe.
I know that since Russell's gone, we're going to suck for, like, the next 2 years. Like, we're in a rebuild, from what I believe. And, you know, we cut all our original players. And Seahawks are just going to suck for the next 2 years.
Maybe
like,
just Seattle team's just going to take an L for a while.
we are.
Damn. I know we are, for sure.
We are. And no, even the Kraken,
Yeah.
like the Kraken is so new. Like it's, you know, our first hockey team, professional hockey team, and we're not even going to the playoffs. But
I mean, I don't really get hockey, to be honest with you guys.
I don't
but
either.
You sang there.
But I
and-
did.
Yeah.
Did you watch
know,
a game?
We did. Oh my god, it
Okay.
was so rough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
It's
we were,
fun, though.
We were fair.
Yeah.
What?
It's
These guys have
fun.
like no team.
Yeah.
Like what?
Did you see some fights?
They did a little
Okay,
bit,
yeah.
but like I guess like so they wait until they really fight
Yeah,
before they break
yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
They do.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
it's
is wild.
crazy. And you know, I didn't really get into hockey until we announced our first team, and our first draft was last year of July when we started bringing players in, and then our first season started in October, September. But yeah, it's like a fresh team, and we pretty much suck. But you know, it's like when
Y'all won on Monday though, I guess.
I mean,
so,
you know, but the
Because of
thing
the rain, the one time in the whole year, it
yeah,
rained.
but it's like, you know, you got to support your city, just like you guys. You know,
For
you're
sure.
from the
Yeah.
Bay, and you guys live here, right?
Yeah.
And you support your home team. So it's just
100%.
it's just
Yeah.
like us. You know, like we're from Seattle, you got to support the home team.
Yeah, at least
Right.
y'all bandwagon it. So it's
No,
okay.
We're like, yeah.
No, that's definitely one. You know, because it's like I grew up with Seattle teams, especially the Sonics. The Seattle Sonics, our basketball team.
Right.
You know, they were the Thunder, like, you know, and because they got sold. They got sold from Seattle. And
It's always just like selling teams, like because I didn't know the Rams either were like such a new.
so
Yeah.
originally Rams were from LA. Or no, they weren't from LA. They were from Cleveland, moved to LA, and then moved to St. Louis. And then back to LA.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy, like how the Rams, it's like,
Yeah, we watched that game.
yeah. Which one?
Oh, yeah.
The one with the Niners.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the NFC championship? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But trust me, it was just bleeding red all over that place.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
no, I
yeah,
saw the
yeah.
video.
Yeah,
I
for
saw a
sure.
little clip. I didn't watch it live, but yeah, I looked at some of the reruns on it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So many Niners fans
Yeah.
down here compared to Rams.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because they're
They're new. They're
Yeah.
still new, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize like the Rams were originally from LA, like during the early 1950s, 1960s, and then went to St. Louis. And then and then they were in St. Louis for a while and then moved back.
Back, yeah.
So I could see why there would be so many Niners fans down here.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
people in the Bay, they're like
They
die
go
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
And
die
everything,
hard.
music,
Yeah.
you know, the
Everything,
support in the
yeah.
Bay is like crazy.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
it was
sure.
insane. Like being there, it didn't feel weird. You know, like
Right.
it's not like because here it's really like the Lakers, you
Yeah.
know, like
Right.
and the Dodgers,
Yeah.
obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell LA Dodger fans anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I sang for the Giants, it happened to be a game against the Dodgers,
Right.
and I'm just like, oh my god, they travel.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of like how the Niners
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's
No, exactly.
like how the Dodgers are. Yeah.
And you know, kind of relating back the question he talked about with Seattle kind of being like the Bay. Like I feel like that's just how, you know, like how you guys are. It's just like how we are with Seattle. It's like you got to rep for the home team no matter what. I feel like in LA there probably are a lot of bandwagons.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just,
No, for
there's
sure,
so
for sure.
many transplants
Yeah,
in LA.
it is. There
Right.
is. There is.
Yeah, because everyone's just like, they'll tell me, like, you've been there forever. You're from LA. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
Right.
Yeah, no,
I don't, no.
and you know what? I agree with you because like I feel like people we've even met here, like they're fans of LA teams, yet they have home teams, and I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, you're not even gonna represent for your own
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
Right,
Like
right.
for me, I just don't rep for LA either. Like
Yeah.
I don't rep for anything.
I live here.
Yeah, and you
I
Right.
reside here.
yeah. I
Exactly.
just live here and I just work here, but. Seattle's always going to be home. That's where all the teams are, and I'm going to always rep for the home
No
team.
matter
And,
what.
I mean, that's why we put the Space Needle on
Right.
our logo.
I
Yes,
didn't
sir.
even notice
Yeah,
that.
you know, like that's one thing
We gotta rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually really dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, we gotta.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny. Somebody just messaged me. it was a model I used to shoot with back in Seattle, and she was like, "Oh, are you back home now?" I was like, "No, I'm not planning to move back home for a while." She's like, "So wait, why does your podcast logo have the Space Needle but your bio says LA?" I was like, "Well, I live in LA, but I'm always gonna rep Seattle, and putting the Space Needle on our logo is like paying homage. You got to pay homage to your city." Yeah. Like no way we're gonna be like no bandwagons or anything. You're always gotta rep for Seattle or your home team in general. And that's what I feel like. I've met a lot of people here in LA that rep for a lot of LA things, but not for your home team. Yeah. So I'm glad you guys are repping for your home teams.
I think my dad would disown me if I just decided.
No, it would be my uncles and my family that would disown me. Yeah. Because we're super hard like Seahawks fans, and they're Mariners fans, baseball. Like I'm not really a baseball fan. I'm more of a basketball Seahawks fan, and
my family too. Definitely like Warriors, all Warriors, the way. My dad's always been like when he came from the Philippines straight basketball to California, and obviously basketball. So it was just like, I don't know, it's maybe a Filipino thing, but it was always the Warriors. But then also he loved the Bulls, but I think it's just because of Michael Jordan.
I mean, everybody loves Jordan. Everybody loves Jordan. I'm honestly hoping we get the Sonics back, because it's gonna bring basketball back to our city. Like we miss the Sonics, and I've kind of stayed away from basketball since the Sonics left. No, I'm not a fan of any team. I'm not gonna be a fan of any team until the Sonics come back. Honestly.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Like it's just what I haven't been to a Lakers game.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like there's no need, because I'm not a fan of any team.
Actually, the first time I watched a Lakers game was when I sang.
Really?
Yeah.
But you've been to Golden State Warriors games and. Just for fun, or?
I mean, I actually never been to even a Warriors game. My dad always took my brother. It was just their bonding thing. But I did I went once with my family. So I've actually now that I'm jogging my memory, I went once with my family. But I mean, it's not the same when you're not singing.
Of course. That's true. That's true. All right, more tangents. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's 50 minutes worth of tangents right there. Okay, but we're gonna hop back in, guys. So going back into it, do you speak Tagalog fluently?
I do, actually. Yeah.
Or do you just understand it?
No, I speak it fluently.
You do speak it? Okay.
Yeah, I can speak it right. It was my first language. I was born here, but it was my first language.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you were born up in San Francisco area?
I was born in Hayward. I was born in East Bay, so it was about that's a good 20, 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Dope.
I see.
Okay, now we're gonna kind of dive into your music career, because we kind of got your bio.
Yeah.
We learned a little bit more about your bio.
We learned about each other.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So now we want to learn more about your artistry.
For sure.
When did you actually get into singing?
I started singing when I was 7. Okay. So I've always loved singing growing up when I was little, but then I loved to sing. That's when I asked my parents, I was like, so can I get voice lessons? Can I do that? I grew up a lot on Filipino music, what they call OPM, original Filipino music. Yeah. So growing up, it was a lot of really old music, old stuff, really. But the only thing that we listened to American wise would be Whitney, that kind of Michael Jackson. That's what we listened to. The Eagles, or that's what my dad would play. Yeah. But as far as really hearing singing along with stuff would be Celine Dion, obviously. But a lot of it was singers in the Philippines. Yeah. Right. So I was that person that my first concert was a Filipino concert. Oh, okay. I begged my parents to do the meet and greets. I was I need to see them. Yeah, I'm standing in line to get autographs. When CDs were a thing still. I mean, I guess it kind of still is a thing.
It is.
But I would stand in line. I would go to, I don't know if you guys know what Island Pacific is.
Yeah, I do. The little grocery store.
Yeah, the little grocery store. Okay. Yeah, so it's a Filipino grocery store, and inside it had a CD DVD store where that's where they only dropped obviously the Filipino CDs, and I would. Every time my dad went to the grocery store, I'm can you go check if they have the CD, please? That's when I got into it, and I just loved pop music. So growing up, I loved pop. Yeah. But the very first song I ever learned was actually "How Do I Live" by LeAnn Rimes. It was a country pop song. Yeah. Right. So I had a CD where before how they had only 3 songs on a CD, but different versions of it. Yeah. So I had that my parents just hated that song after a while, I'm sure, because I just had that on repeat in our van, just singing along, belting. My freaking voice away. But that's when I started singing. It was around 7.
That's dope.
Yeah. That is dope. Speaking about being Filipino, even though I look Filipino, I'm actually not. I grew up with a lot of Filipinos being coming from Seattle, so I know what it's like. But I'm actually Lao and Viet, and you know, I know Asian parents in general, they're really strict, especially for Filipino parents. You know, I know I had a lot of Filipino friends who went to church. You know, their family was really strict. And you mentioned a little bit about how you were going to school in college, kind of for your parents. Like, how did they feel about you going to
for music
yeah,
school?
for music, yeah.
It was, to say it was easy is like a lot, you know, like my parents were always supportive of like me singing. Like they were the ones that pushed me to like sing in front of crowds, sing at family parties.
Right.
Because it wasn't always easy for me personally. The first time I ever sang for a crowd was when I was 12 at a school concert, and it was like a High School Musical song, and it was like a snippet, and it was the very first time, but it was like after that, it was the very first time I sang solo, and that's when I was like, I love this. And my parents were always supportive of it. They obviously paid for the voice lessons, like they did it all, made sure I joined the choir. Like I was in choir from 7th grade through high school. Like it was something I always like needed to make a part of my life.
Oh, okay.
But definitely was one of those things where it was kind of, they like thought it was gonna be like, you know, it would stay a passion. And if it was gonna be for me, it would just happen type of thing. You know, it wasn't something that they expected me to go to school for. So when I auditioned for the school, my dad was like, okay, yeah, sure. You know, but it definitely, they were okay with it for a little bit. When they finally, it started to, okay, like she wants to go to LA, but like down to like the last month, my parents they're like, are you sure? Like registration's paid for, like everything's like set up. And they were like, okay, well maybe you can like do like a specialty first, like a medical like specialty first, and like do this for 2 years, and then we can revisit LA. Then we can revisit the singing thing. Because it was more so like the practical side. You know, and I get that. Like
That's
don't frown upon that at all. 100%.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's, you know, especially when being first generation and your parents come here and like they work so hard to provide like this life that they couldn't back home. That's something that's supposed to be the takeaway. Like your kids like do this. Like it's so also it was one of those things that they didn't want to worry about me. You know?
It was the only way they knew that you could be successful.
100%.
For sure.
But now you're trying to show them. Now you're trying to show them, you know.
They're proud. You know? Like I'm so thankful because my parents could have easily been like, hey, if you want to do it, you're on your own. And they've never once till now, you know, they're always like, still like, hey, so like, do you have this coming up? Like what's, you know, on top of making sure like I'm still okay, like financially and everything. But they definitely are the first people to be showing like their friends, like our families. Like I'm very thankful and I'm very blessed to have that still.
Yeah, that is dope.
That's great to have like supportive parents like that, especially like Filipinos parents. Because of course, you know, like I know my family's big. Like I have a lot of cousins, I have a lot of uncles, and you know, I wouldn't say majority of them wanted their kids to go to medical, but of course I have a lot of Filipino friends, and I know how it is, you know, and especially in Seattle. Like, you know, when you grow up in Seattle, I feel like you're already obligated to get into medical because we don't have entertainment. We don't have like that kind of stuff in Seattle.
Yeah, you're
so
not
it's like
exposed as much.
Exactly. We're not exposed to like the entertainment business. And I feel like a lot of Filipinos in Seattle are already obligated, and they try to, you know, make their kids already get into the medical field.
It's like they already know. It's embedded in our brains.
Yeah,
That's like, okay, well, if you don't want to be a doctor, you can be a nurse. You don't want to do that side, you can do like, you know, anything more practical.
Exactly. So definitely, you know, like it's dope that your parents support you in what you're doing, because I feel like a lot of Filipino parents just won't.
Exactly.
And of course, you know, I've watched Filipino dramas, and you know,
all the soap operas.
All the soap operas, you know, like I know how it is. But of course, you know, those are the ones that are filmed in the Philippines. So it's
they're
like
chasing the fame.
I know how it is. But relating back to, you know, your artistry, like, do you play any instruments at all, or have you thought about maybe picking up an instrument for fun?
I mean, I started playing piano also when I was 7. I wish I could say that I can accompany myself. Can't really. I read music, but it was one of those things that was the one thing where I wish my parents were more strict on, where I wish they were like, no, you have to practice, you have to do this. And they were like that. So that's where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like you guys are forcing it. So it was, I wish I was that was a one thing that I tell my mom all the time. I was like, why did you let me quit? They're like, you didn't want to practice. And I'm just like, and when they're paying for these lessons on like 2 different like things, they're just like, okay, well, if you're not going to practice, then you're stopping.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So one big regret. And like, I tell my parents this all the time. It's like, when I have kids, like, I don't care. Their hands are going to be stuck to that damn thing or a guitar, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
so I can
agree.
play a little
no,
bit.
for
I
sure.
dabble at it. Yeah.
No, I agree. Like, that's one thing I've even told him this too, and he not disagreed with me, but it's like when I have kids, like I definitely want to try to push them to getting into the arts, you know, whether it's filmmaking, whether it's photography,
I mean, me
whether
too.
it's being an artist, like you know, in general, it's like, of course you want to kind of have your kids live your legacy on what you're trying to do, and of course, you know, we can't control that. Our kids are gonna get into whatever they want,
100%.
but it's like, that's a goal. It's like, I would love for my kids to either get into filmmaking, photography, or something like that. Maybe even take over the artistry job. Like,
I mean, why not?
Why not? You know, like, I think that would be dope. So
I mean, like,
that would be dope.
I mean, like, half of me is like, I don't know if I want them to sing. It's just like, I don't know if I want them to go through that same struggle.
Yeah,
like,
right.
So half of me is like, maybe you should just be a nurse, be a doctor, be a lawyer.
But it might be
Pretty
natural
normal.
because it might be a natural thing for them because they see exactly what you're doing. It's
Exactly,
like, I want to be
like-
like my mom.
They might
Unless
be
I
inspired.
pave that way where it's like, you know, but it's weird though too, because like none of my parents sing. I don't really have anyone in my family that actually sings or does like anything like in the arts
Artistry-wise?
wise.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually. So it was definitely like, okay, so why'd you pick this up? Like, where did they come from? Like, I don't know. Somewhere
like
down
this.
the line, like it had to have happened.
Yeah. No, that's dope. Maybe it's a social media thing. Who knew? Like,
Maybe
you know?
something. I don't know.
knows?
I don't know what I heard when I was like 3, 4. And I was like, I just remember being in the car with my mom and she was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was young. And I was like, I want to be a pop star. Like, I still remember this. We like left Marshall's and she randomly asked me that.
Right.
And that's when like actually like the whole voice lesson thing. It's like, okay, well, if you want to like do it, you know, because my mom tried like the whole ballet thing and all this stuff. And I just felt like a little outcast. I was like, I don't want to dance. Like that's not my thing.
Okay. Yeah, so you mentioned you started singing at a young age, and I know like in the Filipino culture, it's like really big. Karaoke is a really big thing. Like for you being young, like were you like the golden child when it came to like karaoke nights with your family?
To a certain point.
Okay.
Like I said, like the first time I've ever sang in front of a crowd, and this includes like extended family, was when I was 12. Like I would hide in closets. I would hide under my bed. I would actually like cry. Like I would force myself to cry because I would just be so embarrassed. So just, you know, like the judgment, like when you're young and you just like don't want people to be like, oh, does she think she can actually sing? Because you know when your parents like, yeah, she can sing. Because then my parents are, my dad especially is like, stage dad. Like we'll be anywhere and he'd be like, oh yeah, she sang at this, or like, you want to hear, like I put her on my YouTube channel. My dad has a YouTube channel, by the way. Drop that real quick. No, but yeah, we do have karaoke machines. Like we have like 3
Magic Mike.
So here's the thing. So we have like the original one where it's like the actual like discs. Like
okay,
so we
yeah,
have
yeah.
those.
Yes.
We have the Magic Mike when those came out. And then they have this other one called this Kumyung that came out when I was in high school. And it's like kind of like the Magic Mic, but you can put chips in it. So you can add like today's songs.
Yep.
Okay.
So I have so many karaoke. Even if there's no singer in the house,
Yeah.
there ain't no way
No,
a Filipino has some kind of mic set up
Somebody
inside
has
the
it.
house. Yeah.
No,
for sure.
I even grew up with, because, you know, of course, my grandpa, he was big on karaoke and, you know, going to Filipino family parties and all that. It's like, that's all there is. It's like, it's the whole party. It's like once I arrive earlier before the party starts, they're already singing. And then once we leave, like 8 hours later, they're still singing. And it's on the disc ones, like the big ass disc ones.
Yeah.
those
That's the ones I had.
Yeah. Those are crazy. We interrupt this episode with a word from our sponsor. Are you looking for a way to energize for the day? We got a product that will do just that.
Introducing Gamer Subs. Gamer Subs is a keto-friendly, zero-calorie, zero-sugar-based energy drink that introduces nootropics to sharpen focus and increase reaction time.
Gamer Subs is also organic caffeine-based that will maximize energy and endurance. To make it easier, each scoop used is 100 milligrams so you don't go over your daily limit.
Each tub of Gamer Subs contains 100 servings. Gamer Subs also provides caffeine-free tubs for those that just want their daily vitamin dose without the need for caffeine.
Not only do they have energy drinks, they also have dope merch, such as these waifu cups, t-shirts, and hoodies, and much more.
Are you ready to energize with gamer subs?
Use our code ArtistryDrop on their website and receive a 10% off discount.
Hey, now back to the show.
Okay, so, you know, I noticed on your IG and your YouTube, a lot of your covers go back to 2017. During that time, is that when you more got, like, serious into singing?
I don't want to say, like, serious, but I guess, like, I archived a lot of them. Like, yeah, there was, like, a lot, like, from high school, and I just started, like, putting it away. And it was also because I'd like to do covers and I try to get them out as much as I could. And I probably should be putting out more. But when I started writing music in 2019, around 2019, that's when I was trying to figure out my sound. That's when I was trying to figure out, okay, like, what do I want to sound like? So I didn't want to, that's the one thing me and my producer were talking about, where it's like just trying to figure out like what I want my sound to be like and what I want it to come across. And I'm not sure if I'm wearing this correctly, but sometimes when I'm doing covers, like I'm really good at just mimicking or just like, for me, especially like when covers first came out, like when you do a cover, you want to sound like the artist, you know? So I was very like picky with what I chose because when I wanted to sound like the cover I was singing, but also just not sounding super musical theater-y. Because I feel like that's the one thing I just divert to, and that's the one thing I keep going back to.
I noticed your voice is powerful that way, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
like, singing the Disney songs and stuff. Like, I can hear the power in your voice, though.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
for sure. So I noticed you do a lot of like commercial shoots, and I saw you did a music video with AJ Raphael as well. And then I saw this dope commercial shoot that you did for a perfume commercial, and it was like a very like serious role, and like your acting was like so on point. Was like being an actress like ever in the cards for you?
That's definitely something I'm still pushing for.
Really? Okay.
It's definitely something that obviously was tied in to being in school. It wasn't just like musical theater is very how I explain it, it's like when singing's not enough, like when acting isn't enough, when words aren't enough, we sing. So it kind of just like ties it together, but we also did a lot of like on-screen work. Right. So being in LA, it's not just like the stage, like you have to pertain to everything. That's definitely something that I'm working towards. If I can get a guest role somewhere, I'm gonna get that guest role, you know?
Exactly. Whatever you can take.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In the past, did you do like a lot of callbacks and a lot of more casting?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm still doing them now, and now it's different because of COVID, but I kind of do like it because now, if you ask any other like actor, it's gotten easier. So we don't have to stay in LA traffic as much anymore because when it comes to commercial auditions, you're in there for maybe 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
It's like the quickest thing. When it comes to like the musical stuff, that's different. Like you're like kind of balancing, they call you in, call you back, all that stuff. But when it comes to like commercial auditions, you're literally in there for like, you literally like do your profiles, like your hands, all that stuff. They have you do maybe a few lines and then that's it.
Right.
But now like it's all via like self-tapes.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I did one the other day and it was like, it's nice because then now I don't have to like go anywhere. When my boyfriend and I went to New York, I got one the second day we were there and I was like, crap, I have to do a self-tape. Yeah. So that morning of, I was like, okay, I got to film this in the hotel room before like we go.
Right.
But had honestly, like, because COVID has messed up a lot of us, like that's the one thing that's like I think we know now is like we can do a lot of things with our electronics.
Yeah, exactly. And from home, like in
exactly. Because had it not been for COVID, that audition would have had to been in person, and I would have missed out on that audition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, back in Seattle, I was actually part of a talent agency too, so I had to like do a lot of self tapes and stuff like that, and a lot of times like they want it back so quick, and you're like in the middle of doing something, you have to stop what you're doing just to submit this video.
You got a day turnaround.
Right. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy. One thing that I didn't really get is like why they like have you show your hands. Is it because of tattoos or something?
I'm not sure. I should know this, I feel like. But I mean, sometimes it is like the close-ups and stuff like that. It might be that. It might be tattoos. It might just be all the above, to be honest with you. And sometimes like, because there are things such as like hand models and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If it's something that they're focusing on, like in a shot.
That is true.
Like as like a videographer, I'm sure like there's certain things like, okay, well, if it can't be covered in a certain way, you know, like just like certain little things, I'm sure.
Right. I would say if you're going to be a hand model, your hands have to be on point.
Sure.
Like,
perfect.
So, it has to be perfect. Like you can't have like fucked up fingers or hands. So
Exactly.
I get,
And
maybe that's probably why.
They do ask for that, like if you're gonna be a hand model, like whether it's like controller or whatever, they ask for like pictures of your hands and whatnot.
I mean, that's almost I shot some content for Xbox and Microsoft. I was doing a lot of close-up shots for their new Xbox controllers and stuff like that, and they stated make sure their hands are manicured and all that, and like I had him be
so
one
I literally had to go to the nail salon, and I was like, all right, I gotta get my nails done.
Gotta get your nails buffed. I love that.
All right.
Yeah.
This
So
is happening.
Yeah, I guess that is probably a thing.
Specific.
Then.
Because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like when they do profiles, it's kind of like the same thing. Like
Yeah,
wanting to know
profiles,
what each side.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes with like I guess the rest of your body
Yeah.
like has to just tie in like perfectly.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Who knows? But going back into your singing, like I saw that you were actually on the Wish bus, and you sung like A Whole New World, was just like amazing.
Thank you.
But what I also saw was like, I don't know if you've seen it, was the video of Darren Espinado, who also sung the same song around the same time on the same year.
Oh no.
It was like A Whole New World. It was a duet, and I guess it doesn't make sense if you haven't seen it, but they like killed it. But they were actually like promoting the movie, so they brought these like trained professionals. And
they had like the whole setup, you mean?
Right, they had the whole setup, nice camera, and a bunch of people crowding.
This wasn't on the Wish bus then?
No, it was on the Wish bus.
Oh, it was on the Wish
and
bus.
I saw a lot of people like comparing in the comments, comparing you guys.
Oh really?
And
I try my best not to read comments. To be
No,
honest with you.
that's good. That's good.
That is great. That's why I brought it up, because I was
Yeah.
like, I wonder if she saw this, because the only reason why I found this performance was because of the comments on your video, and I was like, oh wow, okay, I gotta look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, oh dang, yeah. I can see what they're saying now, but I mean, you killed it.
Yeah, you killed it.
Yeah,
I was
in
like,
your own
I
terms,
haven't seen it, but
yeah.
I mean, I used the karaoke track and I just sang.
And you already said, that's the song you really go to like all the time.
And going back into like the whole social media thing of like people always comparing you to like everybody else out there in the whole world.
Exactly. We're always gonna be compared. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
compared to like my colleagues, like my friends that are artists and stuff, like. But all of us like don't sound the same. Like we don't at all sound alike. So if you're gonna compare something, and it's like whether it's bad or good, obviously we'd rather it to be good. But what are you gonna expect? Like sometimes like there can be like 10,000 good ones, and I'm gonna look at that one bad one.
Exactly.
And like I said, like the comparison, like it doesn't even just go with music. It goes with like videography, photography. It goes with just
anything.
It comes
any
along
profession.
with the territory.
Yeah, it comes with it.
Yeah.
So.
You're gonna always be, compared to anybody.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Like even when it comes to photography or filmmaking, like you're gonna be compared to, like I do a lot of neon portraits. Like, his stuff looks almost like that, and it's like, it's because you know what? A lot of people take a lot of things off of other people.
Right.
So it's kind of hard. A lot of even singers take like specific things off of other singers.
Right.
So it's gonna come with the territory, like no matter what.
Exactly.
Like even artistry in general.
Yeah.
Artistry in general is just gonna come.
Somebody is always inspired by somebody else. We talk about this in many other podcasts. Is like, it's definitely hard now to be original, but it's easy to be inspired by something and make it your own.
I feel like that's like a better way of saying it, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, this person copied this. I was like, okay, well maybe this person was just inspired by what they did,
But a lot of
like
people
not
don't
mocking
think about
it at
that.
all,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like literally just that. And I think, like I said, like I keep saying comparison, but it's like if you're gonna keep letting that get to you, and if I were to read the one bad comment that I get, or like honestly, I delete that. Like honestly, like. I probably didn't delete those. I don't but it's just one of those things. Okay, like, well, did you feel good about yourself after like leaving like a sour comment? Like, did you feel better about
Some
yourself?
people
You know what I mean?
do that on purpose, yeah.
And like, hey, like if that's what makes you go to sleep at night and you sleep soundly, then like, who am I to tell you? You know what I mean? Like, I went on that show or I went on that stage and I did that because like that's what I have to offer. And if you enjoyed it, great. And if you don't, that's fine. You know, like not everyone's gonna like your photos. Not everyone's gonna like my voice. Trust me, I don't like my voice sometimes. I don't like listening to myself sometimes either. But if I let all that like noise get to me, and like I said, it does. Like I would be lying if that shit didn't get to me like every single day. But if I would honestly let it get to me, I would not be singing anymore. I would not be sitting in front of you guys.
Exactly,
you know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Yeah.
No, that's a true artist talk right there, because like I feel like no artist is satisfied with what they create.
100%.
I honestly, like, when it comes to some of the music videos we shoot or some of the like photos I take, I'm not always satisfied. I'm like, when I go back to edit, I'm like, damn, I could have shot it this way, or we could have shot it this way. Singing, like, you could have sung it this way, or, you know, added maybe an extra like verse, or, you know, like, that's, I think that's any artist in general. Like, whether
we're perfectionists.
we're perfectionists.
Yeah.
It's like you're always gonna try to be better the next time, though.
Exactly.
You know, and I feel like that's what we've been doing quite a bit with music videos and stuff like that. But it comes with the territory, like we said, you know, like, and a lot of the people that give you, you know, like that
feedback.
Yeah,
Let's
the
call
feedback.
It feedback.
Let's just say the feedback, criticism about anything. It doesn't have to be about singing, or it's just about artistry in general.
In general.
They're gonna always compare you to somebody else.
Exactly.
And it just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we all have to expect it.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
when you're an artist, no matter what, you know, so.
I've been in that deep hole where I'll like tap on the person's profile and I'm like, okay, so.
I've done that too.
Like, you know.
I've done that too.
Yeah. I especially when you are doing something that is like a little, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but sometimes like when I do have like my stuff on Instagram or whether it be YouTube, sometimes like I'll read it. I'm like, why? You know, like, so you kind of just like take a step back and like, okay, why did you have, it's that saying, like, if you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all.
Exactly.
Like, let's just close it there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
a lot of people didn't grow up with that, obviously.
No, I mean, like I said, you know, we're all gonna expect that through our whole artistry career, and you know, it's just something we all have to
always gonna
expect.
be that one person.
Yeah, always.
You're not gonna please everybody.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
You're not. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But going back to the Wish Bus, you also sung a Tagalog song. Do you ever plan to like make your own Tagalog song at all?
Actually, I want to. I really want to. So I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. Like, my EP's still like in the work, so maybe we'll drop like a Tagalog song. But we'll see. We'll see. Not sure yet.
Excited for your EP then?
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. It's been a long time coming.
No, that's good. Like, it's better to invest that work and, you know, the time, because I feel like if you put out something too quick, you're not going to be happy with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying. It's just like, it's like when you see a photo, I could have done it like this. Like, my producer, like, he goes by DJ Ryan Live, and he hates me for it. Like, I'll literally be like, he'll be like, this sounds great. Yeah. So we'll go in the next session, and then we'll listen back, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it again. Yeah. And he's like, but it sounds good. I was like, no, I can do that better.
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly.
That's the one thing about recording that I had to get used to, though. Yeah. Like, recording's so different from singing. Like, if I were to sing on Broadway, like, once you sing, like, that's done. You know, like, you already performed, it's done for. Comparison, like, with recording, I'm like, oh my God, I can do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can snip it and like piece it together. Yeah. So it just, it's a process. It's definitely a process.
That's the true artist mentality, because, you know, one of our boys, like, he showed us a beat that he made, like, when we first met him back in, like, 2019, right? And he just dropped the song this year. So imagine how much time until he perfected it. Right. Almost 2-3 years until.
Mine's about like 2 years going now.
See,
so.
it's
more about like quality over quantity.
It is.
100%.
It is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's crazy, and I think with music, it's a lot different. You know, when it comes to filmmaking and movies and stuff, you know, a movie can be filmed like 2019 and comes out this year.
True.
You know, same kind of thing with music, but we've seen artists where, you know, music artists where they'll, you know, start working on an EP or an album like 3-4 years ago, and it comes out this year.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, like, it's so crazy because they want to make it perfect, because, you know, it's a make it or break it kind of thing. I feel like.
Yeah. Also, it's just like, it's raw. It's like literally you. At least for me personally, it's me. You know, it's like, it's not a cover. It's not me like just doing my version of another artist's song. Like,
exactly.
This is my song.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Not only am I representing like me as an artist, but I'm representing my producer. Like, that's his beat. You know, like, we're co-writing the song. It's like, I'm representing the both of us, but like just making sure like everything that we worked on, like, as far as there's a message there in the song, like, you feel what I felt when we went through the recording process of it. So it's just it's a lot. It's a lot, but there's a payoff.
But
at
it's
the end.
still dope seeing the process. You know, like, even when, you know, when our boy he dropped the song just this year, and seeing 3 years worth of him playing with the beat, and then because he also produced it. It was like he produced it, sung over it, and everything, and it's like
did the whole 9 yards.
Whole 9 yards, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so dope, you know, seeing what you guys do and you know how you play with your artistry and try to make it perfect. You know, so
it's never gonna be perfect.
It's never gonna be perfect.
And sometimes it's better when it's not.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm gonna get as close as I can.
Yeah, but you never know.
that.
It's gonna be something that a lot of people vibe with, and you left your legacy with that one song.
Yeah, and it's
know,
just
so.
like, and even if it doesn't like become a hit, it's like I still did that. You know,
exactly.
I did that. Yeah.
No, you guys work hard.
No, musicians, you guys do, yeah, for sure.
Musicians work hard, and it's so dope to talk to musicians and artists because, like I said, I mean, we're morely in the photography, videography, and filmmaking realm, but it's like since we work with a lot of musicians and singers and artists, it's like it's just so dope seeing that realm, you know, of artistry and, you know, seeing how they've come up. And I think that's why we enjoy talking to a lot of music artists and stuff like that. And, you know, and it goes with the territory for us because we shoot a lot of music videos anyways.
Yeah.
So it's just so dope seeing.
You end up working with them with
exactly.
us like one way or another.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's such a small world.
Yeah, it is.
know?
It is.
Yeah.
It's dope though. It's dope though.
Yeah. So since you sung like A Whole New World, and I know you mentioned you're a big Disney fan, I'm assuming. Like, have you been to like Disney World and Disneyland?
Disneyland, yes. I haven't been to Disney World, but
That's
Disneyland.
a goal, right? That's
Disney
a goal
World.
for me.
Oh my gosh, I would love to go there. I feel
Yeah.
like I'd have to be there for like a week though.
Yeah, no,
you know,
exactly.
like
I know,
Disneyland
for
I can
sure.
do for a day.
Exactly.
But I was a pass holder. Like I was
Oh,
there.
really? Okay.
Yeah, I love Disneyland. I already went this year.
Yeah.
I went
Okay.
a couple times last year too. So
Yeah.
once that place reopened, I absolutely love Disney.
Yeah.
Are you planning to get a pass?
I don't know. It's so expensive now. It was
Yeah, it
already
is.
expensive then.
They were,
like now it's just like okay.
Yeah.
Like do I have the time to sit in the traffic? Like because
Exactly.
before my friends and I, especially you want your friends to have it. Like I can't be the only one with it.
Exactly.
Or else I'm gonna just be like walking around like okay, which is it's just fine. You know.
Because I thought about it too, but you would have to go like at least once a month.
Yeah.
To make it
Just
worth
make it worth it.
Just to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite honestly.
Yeah. so
And
that's
some
hard.
of the passes start at what? Like, I mean, if you're
honestly
paying a
don't even
monthly
know.
fee, it's like $60. Like,
Yeah.
If you're lucky, I
$100?
think, but
Yeah.
I think it might be more now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I
the
don't
parking
know.
is like
I'm not sure.
insane. I
it
think
is
the parking's
like
like
$30.
Yeah.
$40.
It jumped. It was like I remember it was like 17.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it went to 18. I was like, okay, $1. And then it just went to like 25.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
I forgot what it is now.
No, passes, like parking, I feel like is going up because me and my girlfriend were pass holders for Universal. And
Okay.
when we got our passes, like general parking was like $20. And when we,
Still a lot.
I'm so busy, I don't even get a chance to go to Universal as much.
Yeah. And
We
that's
just-
right there.
Yeah, it is right there.
Yeah.
And we went there a few weeks ago, and parking is $30 now. I'm like, $10? I was just there probably like 2 months ago, 3 months
You
ago.
know, parking was free, like
Yeah.
pre
Right.
post COVID, like
Yeah.
post like the stay at home order.
Yeah. I'm like, God damn, they're really trying to get this parking money. Like,
Yeah.
They're
it's
trying to get their
crazy.
money anywhere they can.
In general. I mean,
honestly,
in general.
Because
But
COVID
fair.
really hit everybody hard,
Oh,
especially
yeah,
it did.
businesses. Yeah.
It
So
did.
it's like,
all these
dang.
parks were shut down.
yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like parking, $30.
That's crazy. Yeah.
On top of gas.
Yeah, on top of
Exactly.
gas now, you know, so it is what it is.
Yep.
But, you know, going back into your singing career, you've been fortunate enough to, like we mentioned earlier, you've sung the national anthem for the Warriors, Lakers, Giants. Like, how did you actually land those gigs?
So the first one I sang for was actually my Warriors, and I actually I literally it was like a chance that I did. I couldn't find so with like LA like they had a submission like there was
Okay.
a submission sheet.
Yeah.
But with the Warriors like I could not find it like for whatever reason I just couldn't find it.
Okay.
And it was just I think it was like the end of 2000. What was that? I think it actually was 2020. I think I actually can't. I can't remember. Okay. Anyway, I submitted to whatever email that sounded like
Close
the
enough.
production or like that did entertainment, that did anything. Whatever I thought, like I was like maybe it's this one. So I just
Okay.
shot an email,
Yeah.
sent like my interest or whatever because they didn't have like because every team is different. Like all
Right,
their
right.
sites are different.
Yeah.
And so I sent an email like expressing my interest and maybe like a month or so after the actual director of entertainment reached out to me and was like, hey, so basic saying like you sent an email about wanting to sing the national anthem, but you sent it to like the wrong person basically, and they forwarded my email to him, and he was kind enough and to be like, okay, well, I'm the person you're supposed to talk to and ask for a sample of it. And he was like, oh, like, I would love your rendition. I would love to get you in for a game. And at that point it was still virtual. So I was able to go into the Chase Center, but we did it like pre-recorded. So from that game, I submitted that one to the Lakers, and then that's the one that the Lakers saw, and then I did. It was also supposed to be virtual, but then they opened up the Staples Center. So then I was able to sing in front of like a smaller crowd. It was around like, I think they were opening it's like 2,500 people, which is still a lot.
Yeah, it is.
But you were doing it live there,
right? But they made it live. And then from there, it was just like, it was all so different. With the Giants, I was invited to sing because he saw my Warriors one. So they all kind of just like tied into each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's sometimes like you want to wait and not be that, like, keep annoying them, you know? But, you know, I didn't do it like every month. And sometimes okay, like, not this season, not this season. But then finally it was just like a back-to-back-to-back thing. And it was just like,
dope.
I sang the national anthem a lot last year. Like a lot last year.
That's so dope, though. Like, those are big opportunities.
Yeah,
a lot
100%
of people, like, don't get, you know? It's like, you know, a lot of people don't have that opportunity to even sing in front of a big crowd like that. And, you know, the fact you were able to land those gigs, like,
at
congratulations.
A stadium, too.
Thank you. Some applause for that.
Yes, sir.
But now that we know, like, you've performed at arenas, you've performed at, like, you know, baseball stadiums, but what, like, would you feel nervous to perform at a football stadium with over like 80,000 people?
I feel like I'll be nervous regardless. I feel like everyone asks, like, oh, do you get nervous? I'm like, yes, of course. You know, like, the worst thing I could possibly think of when I sang at the Giants, like at in Oracle Park, that was probably like the hardest one. I did have like the earpiece, but I remember that was like one of the performances my parents have ever actually seen. So they were right on the field with me. And I remember like seeing my parents from the side, because like my dad's just like this, you know, like you just you know, and like it's in an outdoor space. So I think the only thing that would really make me nervous, I was telling my mom, was like, I swear to God, I thought I repeated a line, and I was like, no, just keep singing. Like,
you gotta
play it off.
Like, you know,
play
like,
it
just
off.
keep going. But it didn't repeat a line. It was just definitely the echo. So I think that's the one thing people, like, unless you sang at these like these places and these kind of like venues, that echo is insane. So I mean, I do get nervous. Like, to answer your question, I 100% get nervous. Like, I have to like be in my zone. Like, I love my coffee, and I don't drink my coffee because I love it with milk. And I don't drink it because I put in my head that my throat's gonna get clogged. Like, I don't eat really.
Is it giving you anxiety sometimes?
It doesn't give me it doesn't give me anxiety. It's just more so for like my throat, like my vocal cords, like
being a barista. What do you drink?
Right now, I drink that brown sugar oat milkshake and espresso drink.
Oh, okay.
That's what I like. Just like my cocktails, I love them sweet.
Oh,
I can't, just like I can't taste alcohol, I can't taste the coffee. Do not like tasting the coffee.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that does make sense.
But yeah, no, I get super nervous. Like, I don't eat. Like, if I do eat, like, it has to be like a performance I have like later on. If that performance is like in the beginning of the day, like, I won't eat. Because I just feel like my throat's gonna get messed up, you know, especially if it's like the first time I've ever sang in that kind of like in that setting. Definitely not gonna test it. But I get super nervous up until I start singing. When I start singing, like, it kind of just like goes away. It's definitely just like I see everyone, I see the people, but I'm like so just like in the zone at that point.
It's because it's what you love too.
It just like it kind of just like it's so weird. It's kind of like when you watch like movies, when you see people perform, it kind of like there's like this blur. That's exactly like, for me personally, that's how it feels like. It's just like the only thing I'm listening to is, I'm not even listening to myself. It's like I'm performing now. Like it's when I was in college, they would tell us like, when you're nervous, like, think of it as you're excited, because it's almost like it's like the same feeling. It's like an adrenaline rush. So I'm not nervous. I'm excited. So like I'll tell myself that. And I'm like, I'm Catholic also, and I'm like, I have to make sure I do the sign of the cross. And I'm like, okay, be blessed.
No, that's dope. Like, would a goal for you to play at like Levi Stadium?
Oh my God, I'm like begging the Niners, please.
Yeah,
like,
that'd be crazy.
That would be dope.
That would be amazing.
Like I said, I mean, you know, that's over almost 75,000 plus 80 or whatever.
I mean, like when you get to sing for that many people and then you get to sing for like your home team and like, you know, also because I want like my dad to see that,
Right.
you know, like that's just, he got to see me at like the Warriors game. And that was one thing I was like, okay, check off the list. I did that, you know. Like, you guys paid enough money for school. Like, at least I sang for the
Right, exactly. I mean, that resume is looking pretty nice, so you might get that.
That's what I was
Like,
saying.
we're
You know,
just gonna
the fact you
pushing.
you got to keep pushing.
There's enough games.
Yeah,
there's enough games for everyone.
Make it this year your goal to try to at least get to one.
The next time I see you guys, I'm hoping that that's the case.
Exactly.
No, honestly, you're gonna do it. Like the fact that you already performed at so many games. Why not the Niners? Especially it's your home team.
Guys?
Exactly.
Let's go.
It's possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
Yeah.
Currently, you do have 2 singles out on Apple Music. But also, I also noticed you don't have them on Spotify.
They're on Spotify.
Are they? Oh, okay. Maybe I just couldn't find it. I saw it on Apple Music easily, but couldn't find it on Spotify. But other than that, like, are you looking to work on that EP and get it pushed out as soon as possible this year?
We're working on it. We're definitely working on it. We have 2 songs that are finished already, but, you know, like tweaking it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But so we are looking to try to push a little more in there, but definitely hoping this year. It has to be this year.
Yeah.
Brian's probably gonna watch us and be like, yeah, no, Jezere.
When did you guys start working on it?
We met back in 2019.
Okay.
Like in 4th of July, actually.
Oh, okay.
And that's when we first met through like mutual friends. And we, he was a former DJ for Joe Coy.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah, so he's always working. He's working right now.
Is he Filipino too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's working right now, honestly. Like, he's just like on the go all the time.
Yeah.
But, that's when we met and we released Love Lost that year. Or was it? Yeah, that year actually. And then we finished Take My Tonight that same year, but we didn't drop it until actually like right after the stay-at-home order.
Oh, okay.
So it was already finished. We just, waited a little.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out that part too. So hoping we have like 2 songs left. We'll see if we can put a Tagalog song in there. We'll see.
That'll be fire.
Yeah.
How many songs would you say you want on the EP before
5
you
to
release
6.
it? 5 to 6.
Five to
Perfect.
six, yeah.
That's perfect.
That is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Going off of just your 2 that you have released, it definitely has like a more R&B and soul type of vibe. Is that what we would expect for this EP that's about to come out?
100%. That's
let's
definitely like the tone I want. I want to get into, because sometimes when I get too high, it sounds too Disney. So we'll hear more vocals in the other songs, because I definitely stayed in like the lower realm of like my lower register if we're talking like the logistics of it.
Right.
But that's definitely, I'm still trying, like I said, like it's still a learning process. Like if you guys listen to Love Lost and Take My Tonight, like anyone, like you can tell like the difference and the growth. Like for myself, I hear the growth in it.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to figure out that sound, but R&B soul is definitely what I'm gearing towards.
That's dope, because I mean those were released like a few years ago, so like definitely seeing that growth is gonna be crazy. When it comes to your music, like who are some of your like biggest inspirations?
That's like always a hard question for me, because like listening wise, obviously when it comes to R&B, I love Janae, I love like Queen Naija, you know, like their tone, but I also really love like 80s music, you know. I love like old Whitney. Like I love like but then we talk like Donna Summer, like songs like Last Dance, like that's like my favorite like go-to performance song that I do too. It's definitely like just tying that in also. Like I want it that when you listen to music, okay, like she sings. It's not like, I want to pertain to today's music and today, like to be a part of mainstream, you know? Like I want to be able, like if my song can be played in a club where they can flip it, you know, like it's something that can be flipped, like a DJ can like mix it like and all that stuff. Exactly. So that's like kind of where I go with like influence wise, but I want to stay mainstream, but also just keep like my roots. Like I don't want to be so much like, okay, I want to be like the next Caroline, like, you know, like not I don't want to like push for that. Like like my main goal is just to find like, what does JESEREY want to sound like? What do I want to sound like?
No, that's amazing, because like I said, like you mentioned, I am a little bit old. I don't even know if I told you how old I am. No. I'm 34.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not old.
Yeah.
You made it seem
I look
like
young.
Yeah,
and
you
people
do
think
actually.
I'm like 20, right? So no, but
he's older than us.
I'm older than you guys. But no, the thing is, like, he tends to make fun of me a lot because of my age. But the fact, that you are younger and you love the 80s music, because that's my music. That's what I grew up with, and you know, and stuff like that. So it's amazing. You're probably one of the first, second people, no, probably the second or third people that have actually mentioned that's one of their inspirations. Because a lot of the people that have come on here have mentioned, you know, like the newer,
mostly like 90s, 2000s.
Yeah. You know, that kind of stuff.
Up on.
Yeah, you know, so it's so dope hearing that you kind of go back to like the 80s and, you know, early 90s music because that music still pops. And I listen to that music all the time. I mean, one of my biggest inspirations is MJ, Michael Jackson. But, you know, I go back to like New Edition, High Five, a lot of these old school R&B groups and stuff like that. And so it's so dope hearing, you know, someone around your age that, you know, listens to that stuff because a lot of people, you know, nowadays just don't. They don't refer to it. It's like they refer to a lot of 2000s music and stuff like that. So I definitely
Gen Z.
No, yeah. No, I definitely applaud you for that. And you know, I'm excited to see what you have coming on, you know, the EP and stuff. You know, hearing a lot of like 80s type of vibes or 90s
trying to like
type of
incorporate
vibes.
it, you know, like just making sure that's like it's like I'm still singing.
You
know, like that's the one thing I when I'm in the car with like my family or like with like my friends, my boyfriend, I'm literally just like, could you play something I can sing to? And I can sing along, like, you know, because like I like listening to like rap and like like the next person and everything, but I also like being able to like literally sing along.
No, that's so. You know, and that's like the one thing I'm gonna start like. When I have kids, they're gonna grow up on like MJ, Whitney, like
listen to these lyrics, please.
Yes, like no, honestly, like you can't beat old school 80s R&B or 90s, early 90s R&B.
Takes you
like,
on a ride. Like there's a story in the song.
It does, and I mean, you know, he does hate on me for that.
I mean, you
song.
definitely hit a soft spot on Lolo's heart. You know, you said 80s. He's like, oh,
we just like tug some strings.
Yes.
No, honestly,
you've definitely been around a lot of Filipino grandparents, so you know how to win his heart.
No,
sure.
it's honestly just a thing. It's like, you know, I love hip hop and all that. It's just like, yeah, my heart is at old school R&B music. It's just what I grew up on, and like I said, it's gonna be dope to hear you implement some of that stuff in there. You know, but now we're gonna move forward. You know, aside from the singing stuff, you also do a lot of modeling, and acting. Like, how did you get into doing that stuff aside from music?
With acting, it kind of just tied in with school. It was we had like on-camera classes, we had improv classes, we had stage classes. So that just kind of came with the territory as far as when we get agents. So we have a commercial print agent that we seek, that we try to get representation for, and then we have theatrical and TV and film. So they all kind of just tie in together. But with modeling, I didn't start modeling until like after college because like being in LA, you're like, okay, well, let's do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I started doing that more so like after college, and I was like, okay, let me try the print thing. But let me tell you, modeling is not hard. Sorry, it's not easy.
Yeah, right.
It is not easy. Like my first ever shoot that I did for like some street brand in LA. I think we got like one photo, like one good photo of me. What? Like, I mean, it was more for the merch, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
But like, as far as like me, like wanting to share it, it was just that one. I was like, what the heck? Like, it's like you really gotta like know your angles. You gotta know what to do. Like, it's definitely a process. Like, I applaud like models because like I do a lot of like print modeling, but when it comes to like runway stuff, like that is hard.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I can
that's
do
definitely
it.
a different breed.
Yeah, that's a whole different beast for sure.
Yeah, it's like when people are like, oh, it's easy, you're just posing in front of a camera. I'm like, girl, boy, you better try it.
Right.
Like, it is not.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, and I think, you know, kind of like what you mentioned, you just pose in front of a camera. It's not as easy as that. A lot of people think it's just as easy because, I mean, I feel like people that hire, you know, a photographer to take their family photos, that's how they see it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's like all you're doing is posing and smiling. No, it's not, because modeling is a different thing. It's like you got to know specific poses.
Exactly.
You got to know the angle. You got to know where to put your, you know, how to put your chin up. And but also that's a portion of the photographer's work. Like they guide you.
Exactly.
You know, and that's one thing where it's like both is some kind of artistry. Like, you know, photography, a lot of people say, oh, you just point and shoot. Like, no, it's not just that. It's like
it's not.
It's not just that. Like, honestly, like you got to know a model's angles. You know,
the lighting,
like, all of it.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of shit that plays into like being a photographer,
100%,
and a lot of people don't realize that. And it's the same with modeling.
Yeah.
Like they just don't realize it, and it sucks sometimes when people think that way, but like we said earlier, it comes with the territory.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's one of those things like when you ask someone to take your photo on your phone, like sometimes like, okay, this is terrible. And then you have another person like, oh, this looks great. I was like, it's the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's the same thing.
It is.
It also comes with the chemistry of like the photographer and the model
facts.
as well
that's
too.
true.
You know?
That's very
you can
true.
know as a model, you can know all your angles and do it correctly, but if you don't have a good photographer like vibe off of each other, you know, the end product definitely shows the chemistry that you had from the shoot. So yeah.
No, definitely, I agree. Now knowing that, like, have you dealt? You know, this is something we actually ask, you know, models, especially when we're bringing them on the show. Like, have you dealt with any weird or creepy photographers or had any awkward shoots?
Thankfully, no.
Great,
nice.
Like thinking pretty hard, like no. And usually a lot of the time, you are working with like male photographers, like being like female, you know. But no, I mean, like everyone's like usually super respectful because especially it's like when you're doing quick changes and stuff like that, like you like don't want to be looked at or like you want to be comfortable with like who you're shooting with, like. Yeah. Make me look good without making it like a weird provocative type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But no, like thankfully no.
That's good. I mean, have you heard any weird stories people have gone through? Because we've heard quite a bit and it's crazy.
In Seattle, they actually had like a whole blacklist.
Yeah, there was a blacklist.
Of photographers that are creeps.
Oh
that models have like brought up to us and we're like, this is...
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're like, wow.
It's crazy.
And we know some of the people and we're like, wow.
And a lot of the stories have gone viral on Instagram where it's come to the point where, I mean, I won't dive too deep into it because it gets pretty deep, but like the basis of the story, and this actually happened here in LA with a photographer from Seattle.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but pretty much sexually assaulting a model, asking the model to come sit on his lap. Asking for, you know, extra stuff.
Yeah.
It started with one story and then everybody
came forward.
Yeah. And it's crazy, like I said, and you know, it's good you haven't gone through that because I feel like being a female and you know, a lot of photographers
you're being trusting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're putting your trust in that person that like, okay, this won't like come out in a certain way or you're not gonna make me do things I don't want to do. Yeah, like thankfully, like I don't know any friends or obviously myself, like thankfully, and hopefully that I never encounter that.
No, hopefully not. And like I said, it's good you haven't because there are a lot of, especially you live in LA, there's a lot of creeps out there.
Especially when everyone's trying to do like, I get it.
Exactly. Exactly. As far as acting goes, like, have you landed any big gigs yet?
As far as like TV and everything, not yet. I want to keep saying yet, so hopefully soon.
Because you will.
Yeah. Commercial wise, like I've gotten like small ones here and there, so hopefully more of those because those residuals are so pretty. So.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just keep going with the grind on it.
Yeah, so it sounds like back in your early 20s, you had a lot of like momentum. You have a lot of callbacks, industry shoots, performances. Like, what are some things that you feel like you struggled with along the way that like you matured to who you are now?
I mean, as far as like the momentum goes, I feel like it kind of just comes in waves up until now. Like I'm in my late 20s now, and it was never one of those things where it was like a straight shoot of like callbacks, auditions, and then like to be honest with you, it just comes in waves. Like you ask any actor, like sometimes we have like 5 auditions in 1 week. And then we'll have like nothing for a month.
That's true.
And that kind of just comes with the territory of being an actor. Like that comes with like doing what we do when it comes to work, like being a working actor. That's what they call it, you know, we're working actors. But I mean, it's just, I guess like being patient, but at the same time being persistent with yourself. Like kind of what we mentioned with like social media, you have to ride the wave.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like that's really what it is. Like sometimes I have to drop like my 9 to 5 to be like, hey, I gotta be here. Yeah. Like now. And sometimes like you have to. And like, but there are other things where you're like, okay, well, no, I don't have to be there type of thing, you know? But I mean, like as far as like momentum goes, it's just like making sure like you're on top of your shit. Like you're just really like, it's not to the point where like you have to like make yourself so busy that you burn yourself out. Because like as far like your mental health, like let's not put that to the side because that's 100% more important than anything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it's coming to light now. I've noticed a lot of like influencers talking about it, a lot of like fellow actors talking about it as far as like just saying like being
open
busy.
about it,
But saying like you're always busy, like have to be busy. It's just like
Because that's what you see, like, on social media. That's what they
But not
promote.
no one's going to show the times where we, like, had, like, the other 2 auditions that we didn't book.
Exactly.
No one's going to show, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to show the end product. Like, you're not showing on your photography page, like, the shots that, you didn't make it. You're going to post the one that made it. You're going to post the one that was it. So, like, as far as, like, going back to, like, the momentum thing, I mean, it's been, like, a crazy ride, but it's definitely been an uphill. It hasn't been, I would like to say that it hasn't gone down, like every audition, every callback, every performance, like every encounter that I've had, it's like, it's only bettered me as an artist. It's only like made me like believe in myself to continue to believe in myself, but yeah, I mean, as far as like with everything going on, like with social media, with the people that you meet, with the hate comments that you bring up, you know what I mean? Like it's like that. You just ride that wave. It's never like going all the way up, and it's never like you're never going all the way down. It's just like it's just like just go. Yeah, like, you just keep on going.
Yeah, honestly,
that's a great way. That's a great way to put it, because us as artists, like, they're. You put it in such a perfect way. There's not a constant, like, frequent thing that we ride upon. And that's what we show, like, on social media. Yeah. Like, it's constantly back to back and back. Oh, these guys are always working. They're always doing something, That's who I want to be. But in reality, we're just human as well.
No,
and it's not.
I mean, it's social
like
media.
Yeah,
so a lot of, a lot of people put on social media certain things that a lot of people, they don't know what they're exactly going through.
Yeah. Any successful actor, any successful singer, photographer, like, they started somewhere, and there's always going to be a hiccup somewhere, like, but with that, like, it just takes you to be level-headed, like, being like, just being in tune with yourself, at least, like, me personally, just like not letting, like, again, like I mentioned, like, the outside noise, like, cause it gets to me, like, I have a breakdown like once a week. I'm like, what am I doing? But sometimes, like, you need that. Like, you need to decompress. Like, we need to go home sometimes, like, and like take that slow pace. But if you don't like take care of yourself, like, you're not gonna be there are weeks where, like, I'm not in the studio, and there's like weeks where I'm like, okay, I don't really care to post on Instagram, or I but you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't, like, you're not going to put anything good out. Like, you're not going to be successful in that sense, because it's like almost like you're unhappy. Like, why, you just have to take care of yourself at the end of the day.
Because being in the art that we are in, sometimes we feel obligated to keep going on and to keep putting on the front of, like, oh, we're doing okay, we're doing fine. Yeah. But really inside, we're like, no, I'm not okay.
And like, sometimes it's okay to say you're not
exactly.
Okay.
I think that's a great way you're like pointing that out, because I think a lot of people need to hear that as well. We're just human.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree with all of it. I hate to ask this question, because like, you do a lot of things, but it's just, I kind of want to get a sense of where you are at with your artistry.
Sure.
Just like we ask other artists as well, but you sing, you model, you act. Like, is there any one of those that you enjoy most of doing?
Okay, I thought it was going to be such an controversial question.
No, it's not controversial.
He was building it up.
I was building up.
What are you going to ask me?
No, because like, I didn't want to be offensive, because it's like, like, you do all of them, and it's like, which one do you love most? Because some people love all of them, but some people love only one of them. So it's like, I just wanted to get your take, because we've asked this question, just to see what people actually say. Since you do a variety of artistry, it's like, what artistry do you actually enjoy most of? Because you do pretty much love them all.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's easy. It would be singing. Like, it was my first love. It was my first passion, and like I told you guys, like, if I were to like be Jasmine or be Kim, like on like Broadway, like tomorrow, like I'm like, okay, I did it. You know what I mean? Right. But it's also just one of those things where, like, if I can just be making a living doing just that, like, I don't need to like be the most famous singer in the world. Like, if I'm doing just that, like, I'll be happy.
But I mean, you have other artistry anyways, so it's like, if you don't have a singing gig, you have a modeling gig.
Yeah, I keep working at it,
Yeah, so it's like, at least you have something else to lean on, because a lot of people don't. That's why it's so great to have other type of, artistry, like what you're doing, like modeling, acting, and singing. Some people are just singers. So if singing doesn't work out, what are they gonna,
do next?
I
mean, I feel like I said, like it all kind of just ties in together. Like one way or another, like I didn't think I was gonna like acting or want to get into it or be in front of a camera. Like who doesn't like looking pretty and cute in front of a camera? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But didn't think I'd be like, oh, okay, this I can actually like sell things like doing this too, or like like that kind of thing. So I feel like one way or another you find it. Like,
No, exactly.
You find like the way how it all ties in together.
Yeah, I mean it's just like for me, it's probably the same for him, but it's like, like filmmaking, photography, it's like that's all I rely on. If I didn't have that, I can't go into modeling, I can't go into acting or, singing or anything like that. It's just like that's all I want to do. I just want to do filmmaking and make movies and stuff like that.
But the longevity of that is like a lot different than a singer's. You know what I mean? Like a singer's, like the longevity of like our voices isn't the same as you making films for like ever and ever, So it's like there's like pros and cons to everything, honestly.
But it's still great that you have that, that many artistry is part of your resume, Yeah.
I mean,
no, it is. You're fortunate. So
So going to your Instagram, obviously we did a lot of research on you.
I know. I'm here like I don't know anything about
No, that's the thing. It's funny because a lot of the stuff we ask are things a lot of people don't realize we're gonna ask because
they forget about it. It's like
they forget
down
about it.
in the
But
archives.
it's like we're like news reporters, so you got to do your research. So
yeah,
it's like,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So we saw some pictures of you like posing with Jules Aurora, and I saw that when you guys were standing right next to each other, I'm like, man, they kind of look related. I don't know if you get this a lot, but
we do. Yeah.
Are you guys
look related?
Like
No.
cousins or no?
As far as we know, I don't think we're related.
Because I know like Filipinos, they're like
somewhere down the line.
Yeah, somewhere
maybe.
down the line.
I don't think we are. As far as we know, I don't think we're related anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was about to say, you guys have the same like
the bone structure,
jawline.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because like
I think
we'll
what
look at
it
each other and be like, we don't look alike. You know what I mean? But I think it's like our bone structure, which like I think we're blessed like to have. Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
How'd you guys meet?
We met, I mean, like just the same way, like at a.
Is it a Filipino?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That photo, I'm pretty sure. I think the photo that you're talking about. We sang at a Philippine Independence Day a couple years back.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was was actually with Jessica too. She's also Filipino.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
damn, all of you guys were there. That's
so
dope.
it was just one of those like. It was like
You guys were just all there.
I mean, when you throw a Filipino event together,
everybody's got to be there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was with her at the toy drive and like with AJ and with Alyssa, with everyone. Honestly,
Everybody's there.
The Filipino world is so small.
It is.
But it's also
It is.
really nice.
And no, that's something I always bring up on the podcast is because, being half Filipino, I consider myself full Filipino because like the majority of my friends and they're all Filipino and I support the Filipino community and
Filipino food, your culture.
Of course, yeah. It's like, but that's why like supporting the Filipino community, I want to bring a lot of Filipinos on the show. Even though he's not Filipino, it's like he still supports the Filipino community.
Honestly, our like being Filipino, like our having that support, like it's like a built-in support.
No, it is, yeah.
Like you just kind of have it with you.
Exactly.
Like we know like when it comes to like the performances that we have, we'll see each other. It's like it's nice. It's like it's a family. You know what I mean? Like regardless, like if we don't see each other in like months. Are you performing? Yeah, I'm performing.
Exactly.
Yeah, you see each other. Like and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Just in general, I think the Filipino community just supports each other, especially when it comes to artistry. It's like, oh, you do this? Oh,
I do this too.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I mean, it's dope how we're all supporting each other in our
one way
specific
or another.
one way or another.
And there's so much talent in the Filipinos.
There is. It's
Damn.
crazy.
All you guys could sing, all you guys could dance.
But and then that's the issue. I feel like is like it hasn't been out there enough. There's not a lot of Filipino musicians being recognized in the States. There's not a lot of Filipino actresses being recognized in the States. And that's why, that's one thing I feel is very important is for all of us to support each other and who knows, maybe one of us are going to finally get there.
Exactly.
To the point where it's like
someone will break it. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
And
someone will pave that way.
Exactly.
Which like a lot have they have.
It has, it has.
But like we're
Joe
slowly,
Coy, like he's killing it.
Yeah,
he's killing it. But like I said, I mean, there's got to be more.
Yeah.
Like you do see a lot of other Asian races out there making it, but a lot of Filipinos are just not in that yet.
Not just yet, but I think we're getting there.
Yeah,
I think
they'll
it's
get
coming
there
soon.
for sure. Yeah, it's coming soon.
Yeah,
and like
for
I
sure.
said, but that's why I said, supporting the Filipino community is very important.
Yeah.
So we can all get there at least
yeah,
one way or the other,
Yeah.
so.
No matter what, we have them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. Now, after we're coming to an end on our podcast, like, what is next for you, like, as far as, like, your artistry?
As of right now, it's just continuing, like you said, like keeping that momentum, like keeping like up with the auditions, keeping up with my music, being able to perform at more venues now that everything is finally opening up.
I know, right?
It's like, it's just continuing to work.
Nice.
But also, like I said, like staying sane, like being healthy, like mentally, like all of that stuff, everything that ties in together.
And the new EP.
Yeah,
And exactly,
Yeah, can't
my
forget about
EP.
that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So, like we mentioned earlier, Artistry Drop is all about, bringing inspiration to the next generation of people, or just being inspirational to people out there. What advice would you give to, the next upcoming singer or artist themselves?
Honestly, I think it's what we basically talked about like throughout this podcast is just honestly like staying true to yourself, not comparing. Like I can't even, maybe I need to look up a synonym for comparing, but it's honestly like that. Like at least for me, it's definitely that. Like as big as the community is in like our Filipino community, like it's hard because you're like, we all kind of trying to do the same thing, or we all kind of sound alike, and it's not, it's that. And then you have like you mentioned with the comments on YouTube, then you have that, then you have Instagram where you're like having to look a certain way. Like my advice would just honestly be like, again, I can't reiterate it anymore. It's not to compare and let the outside noise. And I have to tell myself that every day. So it's not like I still have yet to really, I guess you can say, lack for a better word, master that. So I mean, honestly, like that's it. If you love what you're doing, who cares what anyone else says? If you're not hurting anyone in the process, like,
Right.
what harm could you possibly do? But you're just doing what you love to do. You're doing what, like, like the passion in you, like, needs to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's just being able to carry that with yourself. Just being able to not, like, don't get down on yourself too much, because you are definitely, like you said, like, sometimes it feels like you're not doing anything, and it feels like everyone around you is doing something. But it, sometimes that's not the case. Like sometimes what you see is not what it seems.
Right.
Yeah. Inspirational
That's
words from JESEREY, guys.
Yes, sir.
Are there any shout outs you want to give to our viewers?
My parents, my dogs, my friends, my boyfriend's here and sat through this with us.
Yep, he did.
And just my best friends, my family. They're like my number one supporters. My best friends, like Alea, Annie, like, I mean, some of them are gonna hate me. I didn't mention them by name now. Like,
oh, now that you mention it, I think it was Alea that brought that umbrella. Remember when we
was she the one with the umbrella?
I think she had the umbrella.
That's why you guys couldn't remember. It was none of you.
I think. No, now that you mention it, I think it was her. You're gonna have to ask her about it.
I'm gonna have
later,
to ask
but
her.
Yeah, I think it was her.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, all my friends that like they all kind of like work within this industry too. So like a lot of my best friends are like, we kind of all do different things. Like one of my friends, Nadine, she's a model. Like I pick her brain when it comes to that. Like my other friend, Annie, like I mentioned, she's like a aspiring like fashion designer. Like you surround yourself with creatives, but you also surround yourself with like good people.
Yeah, for sure.
So shout out to all the good people.
Shout out.
Everyone.
Everybody. Where can our viewers find you on social media?
So you can find me at JESEREY Sanchez, and maybe we'll have our single names then soon. But pretty much across the board, it's at JESEREY Sanchez.
Let's go. And thank you, JESEREY, for coming on the show again.
Yes, sir.
This was a good talk. We had a lot of tangents.
Yes, we did.
It's okay. I talk a lot. And
we
you know
talk-
that, too.
Yeah. We talk a lot,
Mostly
too.
him. You guys were talking about sports. I was like, I don't know nothing about sports
I'm
besides
super
football.
extroverted, so it's like I can keep going. And I was like, you know what? We have a time limit on our podcast, but it was a good talk.
Yes,
so
it was a
thank
good
you
talk.
for coming on the show
Thank you
anyways.
guys for having me.
But guys, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, it's Artistry Drop. If you're not following us on Instagram, you can find us at The Artistry Drop.
Follow.
Yes, sir.
And if you prefer just listening to us, you can stream all our episodes on all major podcast platforms. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Peace.